Yeah, right. Okay. Y'all was moved this morning actually to try to put this together, and it was based off of some of the stuff that we read on the atonement. And some of this is kind of remind me of what we read in Sirach earlier. But this is called actually there are actually two names for this lesson, so you can just write one of them down. It's gonna be the same lesson. Um, it's why can't the world hear slash see Yah? Why can't the world hear see Yah? And another subtitle is that we know the reality of Yahuwah through his people. So you all pretty much may know where I'm going with this, right? Because if you don't know the people of Yah, then you really don't know Yah.
Okay.
And the world can't hear or see Yah because the world don't know his people.
Right.
That is not my opinion. Not my opinion whatsoever. And we're going to see according to scripture that how true this is. All right. First, we're going to start off in the book of Amos. Those of you who are online and we're on YouTube, on our YouTube channel right now, you know, like and share this video.
And subscribe.
And subscribe, absolutely. Let's not forget that part. But we're going to start this off in the book of Amos. Try to put this all together. Amos, the 3rd chapter. And start this off with verse 1.
Amos 3:1. Hear this word that Yahuwah hath spoken against you, O children of Yashrael, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Mizraim, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Now, this is going to be a key foundational passage for this lesson here. He says here that you, Yashrael, have I only known of all the families of the earth. Does that mean that he don't know other nations? What do we mean by you have
He has a connection.
Huh?
A connection.
Intimate.
Huh?
Intimate
Yeah, the knowing is covenant.
covenant. The covenant.
Right. Just like when you read, say Adam knew Eve, Jacob knew Raquel and Leah. That known is the covenant known. Okay. He know all his creation. But as far as the covenant dynamic, he only knows one nation. And he have not changed that dynamic of the covenant he had made with the one nation. Okay. And just since I'm already here, back up to the 2nd chapter and read verse 11.
And I raised up of your sons for prophets, and of your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O you children of Yashrael, saith Yahuwah?
Right. So here he says, I have raised up Yashrael's sons for prophets and Nazarites. That comes into play with that covenant part, that intimate covenant part that he had with Yashrael. And the real Yashrael or Israel is absent from all of these religions, the religions of the earth. The dynamic of this people does not fit into play because we have been falsely led to believe that the Father don't deal with this nation that he's known. And because the world don't understand regarding who this nation is, we can't see Yah, we can't hear Yah. It's gonna be some even more deep about that too as we get into this, okay? Go back into that third chapter of Amos and pick this up at verse 6.
Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and Yahuwah hath not done it? Surely Yahuwah Elohim will do nothing, but he reveals his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
And who are these servants? Who are the prophets he's talking about? Huh? Not Israel. Not the Catholics. Not Islam. And I'm sorry to throw them out there like that, but way back in the day, among our people, we've had, brother rise up, and I usually don't try to say too much regarding him, but I got to say it this time, though, because it's very important to know, I respect my brothers and sisters that are in the Nation of Islam or in various Islamic groups, because there's a certain level of discipline that we needed after being inundated with Christianity, which is without discipline. Come as you are, we accept you, we love you, this, that, or the other.
You ain't gotta be obedient.
No, it ain't got obedient. Obedient to what?
Right. Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. Accept you for whoever you are. Right. So therefore, I'm saying that as a community, we did need that. We need to see some kind of discipline or whatever, right? Even though the whole entire dynamic of Islam is the worship of a whole nother deity.
Right.
Because you can't liken anybody else to the Father. I mean, that's what we've been led to believe. And one of the reasons why we've been led to believe, because we see that 1 3-letter word all the time.
G-O-D.
Huh?
What G-O-D?
G-O-D. In God we trust. What? God who? God what?
Man.
Somewhere in here it says something like there are many gods. And they're not all the same. Who are yet no gods. Absolutely. That's out of the book of Jeremiah. Hallelujah. Absolutely. No.
Paul said, I'm just trying to think where. Paul said, he actually said it too.
Oh, yeah. But YAH cannot be compared to anybody, any entity. Right. He's not a right God or idol. Okay. We're talking about the creator of all heaven and earth that sanctified a particular people. He didn't sanctify religion. He didn't sanctify Baptists and any of these religious organizations. But because the only thing that we know are religious organizations, we're unable to see and hear YAH. Okay? All right, so in establishing the dynamic concerning this chosen people, let's read some things in regarding this chosen, but stiff-necked, but rebellious people that are his people. Now I'm gonna improvise. Let's go in the book of let's go in the book of Isaiah 42. Isaiah, the 42nd chapter.
Oh, yeah.
Isaiah 42nd chapter. Let's start this off at the 18th verse.
Hallelujah. Hear ye deaf, and look ye blind, that you may see. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as Yahuwah's servant?
And Yahuwah's servant, he's talking about the nation, Yashrael. This is his servant, okay, that he's talking about here. And he's asked, he said, who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger I have sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as Yahuwah's servant? We're going to see that he's talking about Israel as we continue to read. But My question is if Israel is blind, then where does that leave the whole world?
Wow.
Huh? If my messenger is blind, where does that leave the whole world? Because there's nowhere in the scripture that Israel was replaced. And we're going to go into the New Testament to confirm that. Okay? But let's finish this. Go ahead.
Verse 20.
Yes.
Seeing many things, but you observe not. Opening the ears, but you hear not. Yahuwah is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
So despite the blindness of the people, he said that he will magnify the law because, see, the law is above the people. The law is the words that came out of our Creator's mouth. The law existed even before there was a Yashrael. All right? So that's a whole nother lesson there. But the law, he said, despite my blind servant, I'm going to magnify the law and I'm going to make it honorable. Does the world magnify and make honorable the law of the Most High? Huh?
Not at all.
Okay. Do the religions magnify the law and make it honorable? Nope. See, in our community, Israel community, where we've been scattered, Christianity is our biggest religion, right? And there are countless denominations in Christianity. And they have subtle differences between them. There's one thing that they totally agree on.
Jesus.
You know what? That's true. Because they do have a God who is yet no God that they call Jesus. And I ain't talking about the personage of who we read in the New Testament and scriptures.
Right.
I'm talking about the one that they have made up from Constantine on down. Hold that thought. I had lost mine. but yeah, they have one thing in common besides that idol that they serve. They agree that the law is no more. Huh? They agree with that. They might have little minor debates about whatever, and most of those debates ain't even based off scripture. But we come together and we agree that the law is no more. Huh?
I say they do it collectively for some reason.
Right, because it's who they really serve. See, that one that they call Jesus, he is the God of all of the things that they serve, that they claim is of God. Sunday, as opposed to Sabbath. Because the personage in the scriptures, he kept Sabbath. Every Sabbath. His followers kept Sabbath every Sabbath, okay? So there's a vast difference between Yahshua, whose name means Yah is salvation, and this idol that they call Jesus. But, they don't see people think it's just another language. We just call them by another name. No, it's another personage altogether different, okay? Whole other deity whatsoever. Matter of fact, we were warned about him in Deuteronomy 28, said that that's a deity of wood and stone. Right, okay, so now, moving right along, let's look at the fate of Yashrael. And as we look at the fate of Yashrael, we have to see the effects of the fate of Yashrael as it pertains to the entire world. That makes sense. I apologize. I didn't finish that. Go back to that Isaiah 42. I didn't finish that.
Yeah, we left off at verse 22.
Right. I didn't finish that. Isaiah 42. What verse you say we had?
22.
Go ahead.
But this is the people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey and none delivers, for a spoil and none say restore.
So Isaiah gives the Father through Isaiah, and this is the Father's words here. He gives us a way in which we identify the people. He said, but this is the people that is robbed and spoiled. Why are these people robbed and spoiled? How did this come to be? We're going to read that. They are all of them snared in holes. Holes. That is a term that's given for the worst part or the worst condition that people can live in. So,
a sunken place.
A sunken place. Wow.
The ghettos, the hoods.
Yeah, here in America, we identify these places, right? Just visit a city that you've never been in. I did it time and time again. And when I say time and time, I'm talking about before I came into the knowledge of this. You know, I remember one particular city I went in, me and somebody, we went to Cleveland one time. Never been to Cleveland before. Got off the expressway. Went out the expressway and looked at the neighborhood. I'm telling you, I ain't see a soul on the street. But I just saw the houses. I saw the graffiti. I knew who didn't live there.
When they said,
Oh,
22,
22.
they said these people robbed and plundered all of them snared hoes. Of us being robbed, I was watching this documentary of Harlem, and they were saying in order for somebody to get a house, they'll have to get a loan.
Mm-hmm.
They can pay it outright, or they could, get the money to borrow. They would have to go to the bank, but the banks would deny them a loan. So it's like, yeah, lose situation with a lose.
Oh yeah, everything about Yashrael collectively have always been a lose situation.
Yeah.
That's why we as a people, I don't care where we are, specifically here in America. I'm only saying America, but we're scattered throughout the four corners, living in the same condition. Go to Puerto Rico and see the area that we live in there. Go into London, England, and see where we live in there. You know, all these places, you probably don't want to be caught there when the sun go down.
I mean, Puerto
Without-
Rico in itself is
Huh?
the island in itself is some parts.
Yeah.
Most of the parts is like
Right.
like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The island itself.
Mhm.
The money is like a low. It's more lower than any average citizen.
Yeah.
In America, in the
Right.
United States. So it's like
Mm-hmm. But understand also when he said that this is the people robbed and spoiled, the robbed part means that everything that pertains to you is taken away from you. No other people that I know of can have that same dynamic. No other people I know have that same dynamic. You try to compare, like people say, well, guess what? The Irish were enslaved.
For how long?
Hey, East Europeans, they were enslaved or whatever, right? That's what people say when you talk about slavery. Right. But see, here's one thing about it. When you say Irish, you right off the bat disqualified them. Why?
Because they have a name.
Right,
Exactly.
right. Wherever they went as indentured service, they kept the name as being Irish. They kept O'Malley, O'Hara,
McConnelly. I just made it up.
McAnally, whatever. You see what I'm saying? But we talk about the people that were robbed, stripped of any identity whatsoever.
Or they would say the Chinese when they came here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They heard
And all that. Shoot. Chinese came over here, they brought them over here to build the railroads, but then they bought that egg foo young with them too. Chicken fried rice, So come on. And just like you cannot compare YAH to anything that's worship in heaven and earth, you can't compare the enslavement and the robbing of a people to anybody else on the face of the earth. Because he told us in scripture that what happened to Israel was for a sign and for a wonder and upon thy seed forever. But going back to this, he said, but this is the people robbed and spoiled. They are all them snared and holes, and they are hid in prison houses. Okay, so
You already know we make up 80% of the prisoners
Exactly.
right,
in the United States. I don't know
Hispanics and,
about others.
Mhm.
Native Americans.
right. They say they are for a prey. Let's look at that part for a prey.
Oh, we're being killed on everywhere.
Yeah, but let's look at it from a national dynamic, though. Okay, share with me with this. Tell me if I'm right, if I'm wrong. Every nationality on the face of this earth came to this country to get a better life.
Ooh,
Okay.
don't even say it.
Yep, and they all got a better
Wait a minute,
life.
I want y'all to
I
really
already
think about
know
this.
what you're
They came to this country,
doing. Right.
leaving their home country
To get a better life.
for a better life.
Ooh.
Even them Asian people that came over here to build the railroad, they came over here for a better life. The Irish came over even as indentured servants. There's a movie, I always think about this, a movie called Far and Away. I need to watch that again. Far and Away, starring Tom Cruise and his then wife, what's her name? Nicole Kidman. You saw that movie before, right? And that's what they were portraying when the Irish came over here, right?
Mhm.
And when the Irish came over here, someone went out west. And I think that in that time, America was just not expanding out west.
Right.
Right, it's a gold rush.
Yeah, it was a gold rush, but then it was also a home. I don't know the proper word for it, but homesteading.
Yeah.
And them Irish people gathered around, and that man said, "When I blow the whistle, y'all go." And he blew the whistle, something, and they was running. It was like stakes in the ground, and they all
Claiming their
run.
territory.
Huh?
Claiming their
Yeah, claiming their territory. So now I could have been an indentured servant for 7 years, a respected indentured servant, got my freedom, because that's what they did. And after 7 years, I'm a citizen.
Yep, 30
And
acres.
I am, as a citizen, gonna get some free land.
30 acres.
Huh?
They got 30 acres and a musket.
Wow.
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 Go ahead, Joe, with that
Wow.
history over there.
Y'all better listen. Hey, well, you know what? At least we had a promise of 40 acres.
We had the problem there, but you know, it went from 30 to 40 to so-called us, and we weren't gonna get no, they weren't gonna give us no guns, so they gave us the mule.
Man,
Yeah, they
we
wouldn't
ain't
give us no
getting
musket.
nothing.
Yeah, you gonna get
Nothing.
That
What?
an empty promise.
Man,
Yeah, we still-
Up
zero.
there with a hot cup of
Right. I cover nothing. But yeah. So the point that I'm making is that the scripture says that we are for a prey, meaning that collectively the only reason why we came over here because we were forced to build this nation
Right.
without pay, without a promise of prosperity, without a promise of citizenship. Even right now, in this country here, we're still considered to be 3/5 according to the Constitution.
Right.
Could I build on that? as
Uh-huh.
well? Also, as a prey, mean that everybody that was coming over here to so-called better themselves, we became the prey because they was able to better themselves off of us.
Right.
Through our
That's
sweat,
what I
through
thought
our
you was
labor.
doing.
Right.
As well as yeah, even in our today, we go to the corner store in the hood, we always got the Chinaman. We got the Arab man.
Somebody
we got
don't
the
look like
African man.
us.
So it's never
Somebody
us
that don't even
that's
speak
right
our
there in
language.
our hood. Well, not in the hood.
Right.
That are making the money from.
Yeah, but they get all out.
Right.
They own all the
Right.
laundry mats, everything.
Right.
Every corner store you go to.
Right.
That's another way we
And
fall
what
prey.
makes it even so tripped out about that is that most of those owners of these places, and because like I said, I've been to cities you haven't been to.
Right.
You've been to cities I haven't been to. And we find that same dynamic in
Uh-huh.
every
Every
city
city.
that we went to.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about that, as I was saying, is that over half of the people that run these places, they hadn't even been here as long as you've been
Some
here.
of them are fresh off the boat.
Right. Absolutely.
And taking your money.
Yeah.
Right.
They call us liquid gold.
Right. That's
Liquid
right.
gold.
But we are, so that's an excellent point that you bring out. We were put over here for a prey, and we continue to be a prey.
And to keep you in a low state, they
Right.
put the liquor stores nearby and the
Same
grocery
stores.
Yeah.
And don't be no good, healthy food that you can
Oh,
get out of
right.
these
Sorry.
stores.
I'm telling you, I go to this Walmart up here,
Uh-huh.
and go to one off Lim Turner.
Right,
They're not gonna have the same stuff.
right,
They don't.
As if they would have the one. off Lim
right.
Turner.
Absolutely. I'm gonna tell you what I've noticed too, because I be in these threads and like vegan threads on Facebook or whatever, right? And they'll post something there. All these guys, some vegan dish or whatever. I mean, they don't have that in my neighborhood, you know. All they know. And I'm like, man, they got this, that, and even the Dollar Tree, they be showing some
I
stuff.
love the Dollar Tree in the town center because they have.
Right, that's your
Yeah.
best
Go
chance.
to the one off Dunn
Right.
Avenue.
Right. No, oh, we was there yesterday
They ain't got
at
nothing on
sunset.
there.
If you go there after 3:00, you can forget it.
Yup.
I'm sorry, that's not.
It is laughable.
No, and it really is. It really is. But see, again, this is the only way that you know Yah through the people.
True.
Right.
Very true.
If you don't know the people, you don't know the creator of heaven and earth. Because you're not going to know it through any of these world religions. You're just not going to know it. But here it says that they are for a prey and none delivered. None delivered. 0. For a spoil and none said restore. After 400, 500 plus years being in this entire West, and I'm using the Western Hemisphere as an example. Why? Because I live in the Western Hemisphere. I could probably speak on over there, but I ain't never lived over there. I never even visited over there yet. So, I'm reserving those comments for later. But how can we say restore if we don't even know what belongs to you?
Right.
All I know is that my forefathers, somewhere, some generation ago, they was on the boat and they came over here, and one of the first things that I got was their name. And I proudly wear that name today. Right? And everybody else laughing like, man, nowhere in the world I'll be wearing the name of somebody that owned my ancestors. That's what an average person would say. But since by default,
You already conditioned.
right, it's conditioning, right?
That's what it is.
It's programmed,
From the day you being born. From
Right.
The first thing your mother signed.
right?
It's your birth certificate.
That's right,
That's the first
absolutely,
thing she signed.
absolutely. And check this out. Look what Isaiah says in verse 23.
Who among you will give ear to this?
Right. Even today, when we reading what come directly out the scriptures that everybody claims to love and respect, but nobody want to give ear to this. Nobody want to give ear to this. They want to throw out doctrines. Man, y'all racist. Y'all racist. You let us celebrate you. Wait a minute.
We're the opposite.
Huh?
I said we're the opposite.
Well, yeah, but true that. But the dynamic is, don't call me racist, call the Bible racist. Because this is what we're reading out of. Maybe racist is your opinion and not necessarily what we're reading out of the scriptures.
Opinions
Right.
don't matter when it comes to the scripture.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But if this was and I'm just using this for example, if this was a karate dojo and all y'all sitting there with y'all white robes or whatever, whatever, and I'm sitting here giving y'all a history lesson of Tokyo and this, that, and the other, which one of y'all gonna stand up and call me racist because I'm just giving y'all a history of this art form or whatever that I'm talking about, right? Okay. Same thing with any other culture, any other dynamic. If I was in Italy and I was, whatever Catholic priest, and I started talking about the Catholic Church and its beginnings and the Vatican, man, you racist, man. Like, I'm just giving y'all where this comes from. Nothing more, nothing less.
I watched that documentary you told me to watch the other night. Another one came on, and the lady said the same thing. She said, well, people were being mistreated and taken into slavery because of the color of their skin. And then one of the sisters, it was another sister in Africa who was kind of like an educator, there's two of them. And she said, no, it wasn't about race. She said it was about the weakness of those people. I was like, wow.
Whoa. There's a passage we're going to read that's going to speak to that weakness of his people.
Yeah, she said that.
Right.
When she
That's
said
really
we were
interesting.
asleep, and I was like, I couldn't even sleep last night because I kept watching. And it was weird because it's like they knew. I'm talking about the Hamites.
Oh, yeah.
And they knew they were
They
getting got
knew.
to.
But she did say that there was only a few that knew. It was those who were educated. They didn't teach it to the general public about it. But if you went to school,
But you know what though? That's not all together.
I don't believe that either.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say this though because I wasn't gonna get too deep in this, right? But I talked about this, I think, at the Atonement. But the Woman King movie, see, some things are put there in front of our face so that we can explore, learn, and wake up.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the Woman King movie, right, and we're looking at the surface and we're seeing all the great stuff that what's her name? Viola Davis and all them doing and everything visual about this movie will make it be one of the best movies you could ever possibly see. It has action, it has adventure, and just the image of these sisters doing what they doing. But from a historical dynamic, these sisters from the kingdom of the Dahomey, they were the ones that sent us in slavery, that sold us as slaves. These sisters are actually gangsters, thugs, really. But because they're part of a country, we see them as soldiers, protecting the king. But this is what the Dahomey was. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when they were talking about this movie some 3 or 4 years ago, Lupita Nyong'o signed on to do this movie. She was to play the daughter of Viola Davis' character. So she signed on to do this movie and everything. And there's a video on YouTube that I just happened to see right before sun went down for Atonement a few days ago. It's called something about the something of West Africa. And her name ain't even on the video, but she literally went there to Benin, which is the modern name of the Dahomey. Man, she went there, she was interviewing people, and she was almost in tears the entire time she was there. Huh?
That's the one I watched last night.
Man, I didn't know you was watching that last night, but yeah. She was in tears almost the entire time she was talking to these people. And they was talking about the history of the Dahomey, and they was talking about how they, did and put the people in slavery and everything. And she was talking, did you see when she had asked her sister, she said, how can you?
Yeah, she said, how can you be proud? How can you honor them for what they did, knowing that your people were, hurt by all this?
Right.
She said, because they were strong. I respected it.
And she said something about forgiveness.
Yeah,
some,
she said
some
about
crap
you
like
have to
that.
forgive it or be
Some crap like that.
Well,
But the point is that this sister said, I will not be in no movie portraying slave catchers or whatever, and she had to come up out the movie. And the ironic part is that because see she's part of Black Panther.
She mentioned that in the movie. She said
I didn't see this
picture.
part.
There's a picture there, and the picture has a cross. And she said it has some other hieroglyphics or something. She said, "Well, I know it's really interesting because this right here reminds me of Wakanda Forever because of the way they have that."
That was in that video.
Yes.
Okay, I
the
didn't see
video
the thing.
the video was a compilation. It wasn't just Lupita's portion,
Right.
because that's why
You
her
had
name
that
is
brother,
not
what's
on
his
it.
name? Gates.
It was this one he went. I saw that one years ago on PBS.
Right.
So they did a compilation of everybody who had went to parts of southern Benin, which is what we Dahomey now.
Mhm.
And so they were all like, "This is the point of no return." Then they went to Nigeria and said there was another one in Nigeria with the point of no return. They all had that on there. Most of them had the point of no return.
The what now?
The one that they were selling like 40 slaves to get an umbrella.
Oh yeah,
Right.
that one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
She
That
said-
one. Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, so it was the guy
Right.
was like, so people were sold for umbrellas,
Yeah.
and the guy was trying to lighten it up. He was like, and then this other girl, she had went there, and it was another one that said, "Welcome to it's the Port of
No return.
no Cabo
Oh.
Verde," and that's another place where it was no return, the point of
Right,
no return
right.
for us, and it said people.
Is that the one where they had the big temple like thing?
No,
and
no,
you
this
walk, you walk in the
No,
middle.
that was another one.
Right,
That
she was
somebody else had
crying
been
when
to.
she was crying
But
when
this
she
was
was
sister,
walking.
she had an
through that.
afro, and it was a
Man.
big board, kind of like that. And it said it was really big, and it said all the stuff that people were sold for.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's a
what you
billboard,
thought, right,
And it was
right.
like people were sold for fish.
The rifles.
There was
and
rifles. They were sold for tents. They were sold
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
beans or whatever.
And they couldn't put the price on. You like, well, don't you think that was kind of high? But they couldn't.
Yeah, because the thing is that the
Whatever the price
Europeans had all of this modern stuff, and to a people that were not technology advanced, anything to them would have been like, it was just like in the Coming to America, that little scene, which was a stupid singing where they was in
What country is so rich they can throw glass?
right, exactly. Glass, they throw glass away. It was just like that. So anything would have been like, oh, and because of the numerous, how many of us there was, shoot, man, and you get us for, but the scripture told you sold the girl for a
And
$1
a boy for
and a boy for $100. You know, the scripture says that.
And that's exactly what that lady
In
was
Book of Joel, right? But no, I was gonna say though that ironically that Lupita being part of Black Panther, that the Doja, whatever they call it, Doja Melage, the women, so that's who they were loosely based off of. These women here, yeah, that's who they were loosely based off of.
She mentioned that, and I think, like I said,
See, I gotta go back and see that. Yeah.
But you're right. It was all of that was, and they had other people that have been there too, and part of it, and all the other parts of Africa and West Africa.
Okay, but now listen, what I was gonna say also is that they also show, I don't know if that was in that video, those earlier maps of Africa,
like the one Cynthia brought.
right? And I don't know if that was in that video. It might have been another.
No, that
video
was a different one.
But they would show Judah,
Right.
the kingdom of Judah,
Oh yeah.
and it would show other areas throughout all of West Africa that had our names
So
there.
there's another video which I falsely believed in, and they were like, maybe the children of Israel were really in Africa, and then it was like, no, that's where they dropped
Right.
the children of Africa.
Right.
So Cynthia has this map. It's a beautiful map. I don't know where you got it from. It's a beautiful map, and it has all the places. It'll say Judah, Gad, Dan,
Right.
Benjamin. It is all over.
And then one of the maps had an area called the Jews of the Homie.
Right.
The
The
Jews of the Homie, like wow. So
sadly, there's a place in Florida called the Homie, Florida.
really,
Yeah.
wow.
That's what I thought it was really familiar.
Yeah, there's a place
Really,
called the
I'm
Homie,
not
Florida.
familiar with it. Wow. But yeah. See, so again, going back to where we at here, it says, read that verse. Then it said, "Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?"
That's right.
So he's talking about prophetic, the time to come, not just in his day, but prophetically from his day. That's all the things that he saw. Because when the prophets, and we're gonna read that too, the prophets kept warning us of the time to come.
So we read 24.
But we're gonna read that, but we would not take heed to this. And now we're on the other side of all that, seeing the things that the prophets spoke about, but our ancestors were not here. Go ahead, verse 24.
Who gave Yaakov for a spoil and Yisrael to the robbers? Did not Yahuwah, he against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law.
So again, without knowledge of this, you got the people of the Most High. We're blaming the enemy for our conditions to this day.
And they were simply the vessel.
Right. The white man, this, that, and the other. But the verse says, who gave Yaakov for a spoil and Yisrael to the robbers? How did the chosen covenant people of the Father get put on slave ships, sent into every place on the face of this earth? Is that written in the scriptures? First of all, is that somewhere in the scriptures where it talks about that? And if so, who is to blame for it? Okay? Again, and that's what he's asking. Who gave Yaakov for a spoil and Yisrael to the robbers? Did not Yahuwah he against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. Keep that in mind. I know that sounds weird to some people, but the Father pronounced a certain sentence to his people for not being obedient to his law. And it's the same laws that we look at and say, you know what, I'm glad we ain't got to keep the law no more. Make that make sense. We're gonna read and find out that it don't make sense. Okay. 25.
Okay. Therefore, he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, and hath set him on fire round about, yet he knew not, and it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart.
It's burning us to this day,
Yep.
setting us on fire to this day, and we are not considering it, and we are not laying it to heart. Okay. Turn our attention right now to Deuteronomy, the 31st chapter. We're gonna go back in the law, and those of you who are watching, bear with me because we're going into the New Testament. Don't sit there and think that we're just gonna read all this stuff out the Old Testament and it don't really matter because it's been done away with. It's totally invalid. We're gonna go into the New Testament to see if that's the case, okay? But before we go there, what we do is that we always set our foundation in the law and the prophets. That's right. Isaiah says to the law and testimony, if they speak not according to this word, there's no light in them. And that's and Yahshua, he's pretty much said the same thing actually. He told them, he said, look, if you hear not Moses, then you can't hear me. You are unable to understand anything that come out my mouth because you can't hear him. And that is on a whole nother level right there. But Deuteronomy, the 31st chapter, and we're at the very end of Torah. We're at the end of the life of Shemaiah, who the world knows as Moses. And we're reading this, Deuteronomy, the 31st chapter, and pick up at the 15th verse.
Okay. And Yahuwah appeared in the tabernacle in the pillar of a cloud. And the pillar of the cloud stood over the door of the tabernacle.
Now, real quickly, because I need people to understand what we're reading and where we're reading, okay? We're reading almost the last words of Shemaiah before he's about to die. The children of Israel is about to go into the promised land. And these are some of the last things he's telling them before they go into the promised land, okay? So, Yahuwah appeared in the tabernacle in the pillar of a cloud, and the pillar of cloud stood over the door of the tabernacle. They're all tired of me making this point, but I got to make the point. Before Europeans took over, and we're in the time of the Gentiles now, world history was this right here. Okay. The reason why I'm making this statement is because the Father have appeared numerous times to his people. There was not an Israelite, even though we were stiff-necked and everything, because you know what we did, we took for granted that, you know what, we can't deny the existence of Yah. We can't. We heard his voice. We see his presence. And every nation that was around us, whatever they understood this as news, as CNN, as history. But see, a lot of people are led to believe that this is the fable we read now. Because why? Because the people ain't no Israelites. That was a long time ago. The creator, whoever he is, he ain't dealing with no chosen people or whatever. But right here, it says, see, I'm just reminded that the Father appeared in a tabernacle in a pillar of a cloud. And the pillar of the cloud stood over the door of the tabernacle. Go ahead.
And Yahuwah said unto Shemaiah, behold, you shall sleep with your fathers, and this people will rise up and go a-whoring after the idols of the strangers of the land, whither they go to be among them, and will forsake me and break my covenant which I have made with them.
So this people here that I have made to be a chosen people, a priest nation among the whole face of the earth, instead of them being a priest nation, doing what they need to do, which according to the covenant the Father made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that they will be a blessing unto all the seed of the face of the earth. That's what the whole priesthood was about. They're gonna instead go among these people and take worship their gods. And believe me, I can quite imagine that we were worshiping way better than the people who God they was too.
Well, we was in there, boy.
Man,
In there.
man.
T-shirts and all.
Well, we'll go to the Vatican right now and say, hey, Pope, whatever your name is, have a seat. Let me do this.
Let me
Let me
teach
show
you.
you.
Yeah.
Let me show you how you win it.
Wait.
Let me show you how you win it.
Hey, Sister Act, right? Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. Oh, terrible.
Yeah.
I'm not even a singer, but I'm about to show y'all how to
Yeah,
get
let me
crunk
show y'all.
up in here. Right. See, y'all ain't never thought about it like that, right? But that's exactly what it is. Where we go, boy, man, look, man,
You gotta
look.
praise your God.
Man, we're gonna show you how to
do you.
And to this day, the Vatican, they be invited, cause they invited what's name to come there one time, but they didn't get what they wanted to get. Cause they saw Lauryn Hill do Sister Act 2. They invited her over there to do a Christmas thing. Oh, she blew them. She blew up at them. She let them have it. They don't talk about it, but that's what happened when she went over there to the Vatican. But anyway, where we at? So we said that's what we're gonna do, man. Go horn after their gods of the strangers of the land, whether they go to be among them, and do what? They will read that part. 16.
And will forsake me
Mhm.
and break my covenant, which I made with them.
They're gonna forsake me and break my covenant that I made with them. And the Father didn't make no covenant with no other people on the face of this earth. Verse 17.
Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured. And many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, are not these evils come upon us because our Elohim is not among us?
And see, this is the thing that people don't understand. If the Father had hid his face from Yashrael,
Mhm.
he didn't hid his face from the whole world. See, back then, when we were the people in our land, his presence was known throughout the whole world through his relationship with Yashrael. But right now, the world, we're void of the reality of there being a higher being. That's what we call him now. I believe there's a higher being. I believe there's a higher being. I don't know. To be Catholic is just as good as being Hindu, just as good as being anything else. Because I get to choose whichever one that fits into my spirit. That comes from the absence of the Most High.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? When he hid his
That
face,
unity sign.
huh? Right, coexist.
Coexist, that's it.
Coexist.
That's it.
Right.
Goodness gracious.
I'm right. I'm right today, but you'll be right tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wednesday, you'll be right. Thursday's your day. It's your day. That's right. As long as you acknowledge God, you good. That's not what the scripture says, y'all. But the point again is that when he hid his face from Israel, he hid his face from the entire earth. Period. And that's why this had in our conscience being made a myth and not reality. Go ahead.
That's funny. As soon as he hit his face, Satan was like, "Oh, here we go, party time."
And that's no joke. Because when Yahshua came on the scene, we read this the other day.
Yeah.
Satan promised him all the kingdoms of the earth if he would just bow down. When we made the prayer that he taught us, let thy will be done on earth as it is heaven, because his will is not being done on earth. because it's the consciousness of Yah is absent. The world do not hear the voice of Yah because they do not know the people. The people is the evidence of Yah on this earth. All right, but they saying, he said, I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, are not these evils come upon us, because our Elohim is not among us, verse 18.
And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evils which they shall have wrought or worked, in that they are turned unto other, or they are turned unto idols.
Right, okay, and let's go on to Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter. Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter. And this is, okay, Deuteronomy 32nd chapter, and start this at verse 15.
But Yeshurun waxed fat and kicked. You are waxen fat, you are grown thick, you are covered with fatness. Then he forsook Elohim, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his
So
salvation.
Yeshurun is just another term given to the kingdom of Yashrael, Israel. He says that they did what? They waxed fat and kicked. You are waxen fat, you are grown thick, you are covered with fatness, and he forsook Elohim, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. We even look at not just our Knesset right here, but even among other Knessets, right? You get people that come through and they be like, man, this is the best thing ever, right? But then in their mind, they get complacent, right? Complacent. I'm tired. I don't feel like.
That's the key word.
Yes, yeah, it is. Because to a certain extent, we all kind of get like that. And sometimes your complacency be based off being ungrateful, bored or whatever. Lazy, all of these things come into play. And as a people, this is what happened. It went from y'all have blessed me with X, Y, and Z until, oh man, I worked hard to get this on my own, and I'm tired of this thing, so now I gotta work hard. Yeah, right. It's a different mindset, absolutely.
First, y'all has blessed me with the job.
Right.
We happy. Y'all done blessed me
Right.
with this job, but then you get that check. Okay, thank you for the first check.
Right, yeah.
Time
Like that
in,
first
do
check.
this. Now we gonna get about 6 months in. Now everything coming good, brewing, you eat
Right.
well, everything paid, everything taken care of.
Right.
And now I don't even think about y'all no more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yahoo. Like the website. Yahoo.
Every day, you don't know, boy. My man did nothing, boy. I got to do all the moon. Sometimes he come up with something. I handle it. I do what I do.
Okay, so let's read that 32 and verse 15. Right. Go ahead.
They provoked him to jealousy with strange idols. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to Elohim, to idols whom they knew not, to new idols that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat you, you are unmindful and have forgotten Elohim that formed
See, again, and just
or
as
forgotten
a,
Yahweh.
right, and as a reminder, again, the people have not even came into their inheritance just yet. This is all that they did in the wilderness. Had not even come into their land yet.
Wow.
Had not even fully became a nation yet. And they got all of this stuff that they did, and the Father hadn't even blessed them with their land yet. Okay. See, so to a certain degree, the whole world should have a certain level of indignation against the chosen people. Because if we didn't do what we didn't do, the whole world is messed up. And I'm going to read that in a minute, as a matter of fact. But all of this has happened that we've done, and because of what we've done, the whole world is in disorder. Okay, verse 19.
And when Yahuwah saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them.
There it is again. He said, I'm going to hide my face from these people.
I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to judge.
Oh, wait a minute, hold up. Children in whom is no faith.
Mm.
Faith is a term that you hear about in New Testament churches, right?
Yeah.
Christian churches, right? But he's saying right here in the quote unquote Old Testament, these are children in whom is no faith.
Mm.
What faith that they didn't have there?
That the Father would take care of them.
Yeah,
Huh?
they didn't trust in God.
Yeah.
Yeah, they trust in God.
But how did they show their lack of faith?
By
Oh,
kicking
by
against everything.
Trusting in everything else other than God.
Right.
Trusting in the other
Or,
idols.
or could we say not keeping the commandments?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
The law.
So where I'm going with it is that if that is a sign of a lack of faith then, how can it be a different sign of lack of faith now?
Good point.
Huh?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you read some of the scriptures, what I said on the Day of Atonement, and you read where the Father said this, Yah Elohim, or if you read it in the way in our English Bible, read the Lord God says this. And then you come into some kind of way in which you try to reason a way to not do it, then you're showing a lack of faith in what thus says the Most High. Right? You want to say something?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Also, when I look at lack of faith, I also look at, these people, they're in the wilderness and they have not come into their land.
Right?
And they're getting impatient and they don't have the faith in the Father because they want it on their time, not the Father's time.
Yeah.
Even now today, everyone wants to determine when the Father's going to establish his kingdom on earth.
Ooh, you made a good
So,
point. That's okay.
That's how I
Hallelujah.
look at it. And they
Yeah.
start turning to other deities, as they
True
said.
that.
And they said, well, we're going to worship these false idols.
Right.
True
and
that.
they're going to give us what we feel like we should have.
Right.
Instant gratification.
Yes.
Right.
Instant gratification.
Right. Hi, hallelujah for that point. That absolutely
That's my sister.
plays a part. Because when we first came in the wilderness, Shemaiah warned them intently that the Father's trying to prove y'all.
Somebody wants you to repeat what you said because they couldn't hear you. So you might
Oh,
want to turn the mic on.
okay.
It's on, right? Oh yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, what I had said is that when it comes to having no faith, right now we're reading these people, the people, the covenant people are actually in the wilderness.
Yep.
And they feel as though that they're waiting to come into the land that the Father has promised them. And they want it on their time and not on the Father's time. So they losing faith and they're going to other, making other idols and worshiping those idols instead of having faith in the Father because they want things on their time. And I look at it easily today. When you look at it today, people are looking for the Father to come and establish his kingdom right here on earth. And people are trying to determine when the Father's going to come. And they have no faith and waiting on the Father. So they turn to their own understanding and, looking at themselves as looking for other deities and even look at themselves as enlightened people.
Right,
Right.
right. So I'm gonna just expand a little bit on that too, because that was an excellent point she's making. And see, it's one thing to have a surface understanding, but what I like to get right there in the heart of it. So just like what she said, this right here being spoken is the 40th year of being in the wilderness. 40 years. You know, you can quite imagine 40 years of your own life. We of us that are over 40 years old, we can go back 40 years old and man, that's a whole different world. Right? Right? So 40 years is to a human being is like forever.
Mm.
So if I'm older than 40 years old, let's say if I'm 60 years old, then that means that at this point I was 20 when we saw the great Exodus. So for the first 20 years of my life, I knew what it was like to be in a nation, to
Right.
see kings, pharaohs, and majestic stuff right there. But man, for the past 40 years, I've been in this dust bowl with these people, my relatives, and we supposed to be having this, that, or the other, but we know that Amon over there got this, that, the other. Shemaiah's father-in-law, he a Moabite, shoot, he a judge in this nation, and they get down over there, you know, and the Canaanites in the land that we supposed to be going to, man, how we gonna destroy them? You know, there's some giants over there, and they got big buildings and this, that, the other, and 40 years? All I can say is 40 years we've been right here in the same spot. And if I'm not mistaken, we might be marching in circles.
Can I just see this tree?
Right, right. Well, we not in this spot here. We didn't know where we were gonna get some. I like to do that. I like to do that so people can understand.
Gathering manna.
Right. Oh man, let's not talk about manna.
Yeah.
If I see another oh manna. Oh man, look. Ain't nobody else eat no manna but nobody.
Straight cars.
Huh? That's right. That's right. That's right. Man, it's like man. So I just wanted to elevate that understanding that she was saying because without it, I'm saying without it, you know, we'll be on the outside looking in like, man, them people's wicked. And they were wicked, but I'm just saying without understanding the mentality, because the righteous people, they were able to come above what the current situation is.
Right.
Matter of fact, the righteous people would be like, well, you know what? I'll be out here in these sand dunes all day long instead of get my butt, my, you know, stripes on my back or whatever, and being subject to another nation. We're not subject to another nation, but just like us, we don't be thinking about that. Man, you subject to another nation, right? What are you talking about? Again, who will give into this? Who will say restore? You can't tell a brother that you're gonna be restored when he's like, restored from what? You know, my mom, huh?
They thinking they got a good.
Absolutely.
I fold my hair, you know.
That's right.
Still got a good job.
Good job, man. All that restored. What? What? You know, but that's exactly. I'm so glad that Cynthia shared that because that's exactly what was going on there.
Versus that powerful.
Huh?
Yeah, we are. Who are we? Exhibits that powerful.
That's right. Hallelujah. Absolutely. Okay. Where we at?
We are in verse. Oh, now you threw me off.
Okay.
Yeah, 21.
Okay, go ahead.
They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not Elohim. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Go ahead.
I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation.
Who's the foolish nation that we were provoked to anger by? Somebody tell me who's this foolish nation he's talking about right here.
Gentiles.
Yeah, Gentiles. Absolutely. And once the specific foolish nation are the Romans. And the reason why I'm saying that because Right, but they're the Gentiles.
Yeah.
Because Paul reminds them, speaking to them in Romans, the 10th chapter, concerning Israel, and he's talking to the Romans. He said, look, y'all, Moses had already said that we'll be provoked to jealousy by food. See, and the thing is, we didn't know who the Gentiles was right here.
Mm.
That's why he didn't give a name to the people. We did not know the Gentiles as a people at this time.
There's no such thing as Gentiles.
Well, no, they
No,
existed,
as
right?
we know of.
Right,
As
that
we
we
know of,
knew,
in all
right.
reality, there
right,
was no such
right,
thing
right.
as
Japhet was scattered to wherever he was at. That's why you don't see no interaction with us in Japhet until Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came.
Right.
That's just, but and we could expand more on that, but I don't want to expand on that. That'll be a whole nother lesson.
You could go to this day and age and talk about it.
Man, no, yeah, that's a whole nother lesson right there, though. But that's what he said. He said, I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people, and I provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. So again, we're provoked to jealousy right now, right? So when I go into that hood that I don't live in, that I can get better groceries at, see better houses and all that at, I'm provoked to jealousy.
Yeah, lands are manicured, yards are manicured.
All that.
And I will also say too, it's not really just within our dwellings, it's also as our history. But other people being in our land, they have access to more of our history than what we actually have, and a lot of times they misuse or
Now see, right. Finish
Now,
that.
I want to say they may misuse it or interpret it their own way, but at least they're there to where they can come across the different things that we only have to take their word
That's
for
right.
or something like that.
Right. You see, that what you're saying reminds me of the very important point there. Very important point. None of my people can really relate to having a heritage, having an ethnicity.
Right.
We take it for granted. We really take it for granted, but you're going to take it for granted if you ain't never had it, then you don't really know how crucial it is. Because I'm from Chi-Town, Chicago. And the thing about Chicago is that, is that there are different communities, ethnic communities there. Martin Luther King said it was the most segregated place he had ever been to. Chicago, Illinois. I'm talking about even the white people, like, hey, because back then there was a Yugoslavia back in the day, the Yugoslavian neighborhood, Czechoslovakian neighborhood, Polish neighborhood,
Gotham City.
German
Yeah, we had
neighborhood,
those too,
Ukrainian neighborhood. When I say second, I ain't talking about black and white. I'm talking about
yeah.
straight up,
Cities, man.
Little.
Puerto Ricans is here and the Mexicans is here, and
She said the Italian.
huh?
The Italian.
All that. That's how. But the point is that all of these people retain a language and a culture among them.
Because even in New York, it's like that. You got signs that have
Right.
their language on
Right.
it.
And I'm going to share a secret that most of us don't even understand. That all of these different cultures, Asian cultures and all that, they don't care who the mayor of the city is. They don't care who the governor is. They don't care who the president of the United States is. We are the ones that talk about vote or die. This is our chance. Vote, get out the vote. Because if we don't vote, we're gonna die. We're gonna be poor, this, that. And all the other communities, they got their nice little communities. They know how to respect each other. They know what they're not going to allow in our communities. That is the power of an ethnic.
Right.
But we can't relate to that because we never had that. Even back in the day when we came close to having them in them certain cities that we had, the Europeans took that, they burned them down.
And I was gonna say it made lakes.
And then even after that, when we were in our own neighborhoods in certain cities, Chicago,
Black
LA,
Wall Street.
huh?
I think Black Wall Street.
No, we got all that.
All that.
But I'm saying after that, when we were in our own neighborhoods and cities, and something bad happened, what happened? We destroyed our own cities, our own neighborhoods, rioting and this, that, or the other. And we ain't talking about one place. We talking about multiple places.
Detroit, LA,
Detroit, LA, Chi-Town,
New
all
York,
of them, same thing.
Pennsylvania.
Why they go to the white neighborhoods and mess them up?
And we didn't. In
Dang
none
crazy.
place we did.
Every cop in that city
Uh-huh.
would have descended
Mm-hmm.
on every neighborhood that we were in.
Uh-huh. But go
That'd
ahead.
have been pretty.
22.
For a fire is kindled in my anger and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains.
Now, this is an example of how the effects of the Father with his people affects the entire world right here. It's just a smidgen of it right here. Because without the people, the Father don't even have too much dealings with the rest of the world, really. No, that's why we got a lot of stuff even going on in this day and age. But that's a whole nother lesson, because we've always had stuff going on this earth. But go ahead.
They shall be
23.
23. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spend my arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger and devoured with burning heat and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them with the poison of serpents of the dust. The sword without and terror within shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. I said, I will scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men.
And we have ceased from the remembrance of us has ceased among men. See, again, that's something that we don't know, but y'all know because I've experienced it before. But because I changed my name to Israel, that is my legal name that I've had more than half of my life. So I've seen the reactions to Gentiles when I tell them my name. Because a name like Israel, Yahudah, whatever name that the Father allows us to have, it don't reflect the colonizers of the land that you're in. It don't reflect it. Because they it catches them by surprise. Because they expect to hear Robinson. Oh, my name is Jerry Robinson. Oh, how you doing, Miss? When they hear that, they know that it's a plantation. They hear plantation. We're not used to that. We have no idea that that's what they hear. But they do hear that. And I was never aware of that until I seen the effects of having a name that did not reflect that. Yeah, absolutely. It's so subconscious, but to us, we don't even think twice about it. We be taking pride in these plantation names that we got. But they be like, man, just like when Oprah Winfrey, when she got real big, boy, they had to find out who the Winfreys was. And she ended up meeting the Winfreys. Same thing with Michael Jordan, same thing with him. They be like, man, they be trying to figure out, oh, look, this is your foundation. This is, same thing with the whole Thomas Jefferson thing.
Or the Presleys.
Oh, absolutely. Or like she said, or part of her family were the Presleys.
She's related to
They're related
Elvis
to Elvis
Presley.
Presley. Yeah. Yep.
Well,
the king of rock is related to the queen of talk.
No, we're not going to do it. We're not.
But like I say,
No, that's what they said.
Anyway, where we at?
27.
Uh-huh.
Were it not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and Yahuwah have not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end.
Their latter end, y'all. Latter end, we're here dealing with the same things that were prophesied about us to deal with that. And we're gonna show you that. But anyway, this next verse right here is what I was referring to when you said about the weakness.
Mhm.
Yeah, read that.
How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them and Yahuwah had shut them up?
Exactly, right?
Mhm.
You see the pictures, right? You got two white guys or whatever they might have,
Two guns.
guns or whatever.
It'd be
A
1,000.
whole line of us
Yep.
with the yoke of iron on our neck or whatever. He said that their rock had to sell them in order for that to exist.
Right. Because I always wondered in my mind, I'm looking at the slave thing on TV, you know, they do the documentary. I'm like,
Right.
why didn't they take, it's only two of them.
Yep. Or we be 5 times more of them on any ship.
Yep. Why didn't we always
Any
do it?
plantation.
Mhm.
Any plantation. And down in the islands, it was, man, the ratio was just way overwhelming.
Yeah.
Shoot, some of them white people didn't even see parts of their own, of what they own, and it was filled with slaves picking sugar.
Because a lot of them, that's what we found out when the Queen passed. Well, when, you know, those people were in, what's their names over there died, when she died, that most of their people were in Europe while they owned the plantations in the islands.
Uh-huh.
So it's like they didn't even go over there, but once a year, maybe. To,
That's,
you know,
that's crazy.
but you
Man,
think
look,
to
let me
yourself,
tell you
you have
something.
700. Some of these plantations have 700 slaves.
Let me tell you something. The
How
wealth,
does 700 people?
the
not
wealth
leave?
of England is a whole nother lesson entirely.
I know.
The wealth of England, the New World, United Kingdom, whatever, Bill Gates can't even relate to that wealth.
Mhm.
You put Bill Gates together with Amazon dude and all that. You put 10 of them together, and they couldn't even relate to what England, the old money. Old money. What they did, like you say, in the Caribbean, owning the areas of the Caribbean with all them slaves and the wealth, they haven't even spent the wealth of 300 years ago. You don't understand. You don't
That's
get that,
old money. They still on old money.
huh?
They still on old money, sitting on it.
Sitting on it. Anytime you can have a funeral and you bury her in the church, you just hit a button and she descends down into the ground, and they say all the rest of her relatives are down there. I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, they got a whole tune with the relatives in it.
Okay. But moving right along, y'all, 'cause we need to get through this. Let's go into Jeremiah the 7th chapter. I think this is what I read on the Day of Atonement that put this whole thing together for me. I'm like, man, Jeremiah the 7th chapter.
And then they always say, who's gonna pay reparations? We don't own slaves. I'm like, the people who made the families that made money off of it.
Mm-hmm. Man, they got enough to pay reparations without even missing it.
We said Jeremiah what?
Jeremiah 7th chapter.
The chase people and all them other families here, even in New York, they all
The Jeremiah what?
seven.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Hold on one second.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if
No, you know why you looking for what you I was just thinking. I say, shoot, when you really gonna find out how much money they have when the time comes to get called back. Maybe they gonna be giving us. You gonna see.
Oh yeah.
You gonna see what they really
Oh
got
yeah.
when that time comes.
What are you gonna give you all that money? You gonna turn around and say, you feel good, ain't you? No.
You ain't there?
Jeremiah 7th chapter, let's start this off at the 13th verse.
Now because ye have, right there?
Yes.
Now because ye have done all these works, saith Yahuwah, and I spake unto you, rising up early and speaking, but ye heard not, and I called you, but ye answered not. Therefore will I do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein you trust, and unto the place which I gave to you and to your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh, and I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim.
And just think about that, right? Because we're talking about Yahudah here. Because Israel, the northern kingdom, was already cast out, which is, they call that Ephraim, right? And think about that even right now. When you really think about it, you be like, okay, now the northern kingdom, they had the tribes of Ephraim, they had the tribes of Zebulun, the tribe of Gad. You don't even hear nobody, I mean, righteously, you know, you got some Israelites that be claiming it, but that's false. But historically speaking, the tribe of Gad, I'm a Gadite. You don't really hear that. I'm of Ephraim, I'm of Manasseh, I'm of Naphtali.
Joseph.
He said, I have cast them out of my sight. So he's telling Yahudah this, or where the term Jew come from, Yahudah. But the 10 tribes, they were cast out of his sight.
That's weird. You don't hear nobody say I'm from the tribe of Naphtali.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You don't hear that. Huh? Right. Okay. But he said, I have cast out all your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim. Go ahead.
Therefore pray not you for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear you.
Boy, I mean, mad much. Yeah, I mean, that, man, when I read, and I ain't even got this in my other lesson, I got to put this in my other lesson, but that's a level in which for people to attain to this type of hate that the Father said, you better not even pray for them. I can't even speak thinking of the anger that he would have to be.
Kind of like when he said, if her father had but
Right,
spit in her
right.
face,
If her father had but spit in her face, would she not be
unclean.
set aside, cast out or whatever? Absolutely. And this is the anger that the Father has for his chosen people. His chosen people. Go ahead.
The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven and to. Did I
You
say
did?
did we? Hold on.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. Sure
See
did.
you not what they do in the cities of Yahudah and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offering unto unto idols, that they may provoke me to anger.
Now see, here's the thing. Go ask a Catholic who's the Queen of Heaven. Huh? They're gonna give you a name real quick. Oh, the Queen of Heaven. I know there's a church here called the Queen of Heaven Church.
There's one in Orlando.
In Chicago, we got a cemetery called the Queen of Heaven Cemetery.
Well, I don't know if we talked about it.
Right.
Asher,
Right.
which is the queen of
Right. Asheroth. Right. But now, check this out though. Here's the thing about this though. And I want people to really be smart when they read this, because the Catholics are not very smart. Right here, when he says they make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, what's the name given to this Queen of Heaven right here? Trick question. It's a trick question. What's the name given to this Queen of Heaven right here?
I don't like
You said it, right?
Huh?
Did I just say it?
Miriam? That's what I mean.
Y'all don't see no name there.
Ain't no name up there.
Oh yeah, there's
Ain't no name there.
Right.
No name woman.
Right.
It's just a title.
Right.
Yeah.
But the point that I'm making is, you don't come to me and say, well, yeah, bro, that's what they did. But see, Mary, the mother of Jesus, she is really no. There ain't no queen in heaven.
Right.
There's no name here. This is like if I turn to Jeremiah the 10th chapter, and it said, and they take a tree out of the forest, and they stand it up and nail it with nail hammer. I'm like, what's the name of this tree right here?
It don't matter.
That's my point. See, that's exactly what my point is.
It's the process.
If you're somewhere talking about a queen of heaven, and you're worshiping inside of the queen of heaven, or you're acknowledging a queen of heaven, that's idolatry. You see what I'm saying? My point? Give it whatever name you want to give it. Ashtaroth is idolatry. Mary, that you call Mary, because we know who Miriam historically was. And Yahshua said something like, they said like, hey, here go there's your mother, something said. And he's like, who is my mother? Who's my brother?
The will of my Father.
Right. And you here to call yourself, talking about you worship this woman. She's still alive and this, that, and the other. But see, that's the reason why. See, not, and pay attention. This is the reason why you have to put a distinction. Because this group says Mary, which in the New Testament, we have a Mary, but the Mary or Miriam that we know that's written in the New Testament is not the same one that they do.
Right.
True.
The same idols that they have, what they call it, the Lady Madonna. No, they call it different name. Well, what's the name?
The mother, the Madonna. It's
Yeah, or whatever, right? And the baby. Idolize idols. That's not Miriam and Yahshua that we know here.
Wearing
in the-
necklaces.
Huh?
ISIS,
Necklaces.
Osiris.
Well, that's in Israel. I'm talking about among the Europeans that have this. Because I done seen them have the image of the Virgin Mary. They call her the Virgin Mary and she holding the baby.
Right.
But anyway,
Like the neighbors across the street that have the statue.
right. Oh,
You
really?
saw that?
And they pray to this statue.
Yeah.
They pray to this. So the point that I'm making is that when I kick against Jesus, we're not talking about the historical person that we're reading about in the New Testament. We're talking about the God of the Europeans, the idol whose picture and whose statue is throughout the entire world.
Yep.
That is Jesus. That's the real Jesus right there. The person that we read about in the scriptures was a Hebrew of the tribe of Yahudah, of the son of David. His name is Yahshua. And if you read and any variation of Hebrew that you want to call him, Yahushua, any variation is still
Salvation.
Yah salvation. Yod He Shin Y-I-N. That's how it's spelled. Yod He Shin I-N. Right. Yeah. Hey. Absolutely. So I have to say that because these cats be like, well, look, I only know Jesus, but y'all be confused about all the ways, the different Hebrew ways that you said, whatever. Look, they all mean Yah salvation, unlike Jesus that don't mean Yah salvation.
Exactly.
So anyway, so it's interesting that we read about a queen of heaven here, but we know who Miriam was, and she ain't this queen of heaven here. But this same queen of heaven here is the same ones that they call queen of heaven.
And it's sad that they actually use that actual title.
Absolutely. That same title. Okay. But that's what he said, but we provoke the Most High for even dealing with a so-called queen of heaven. All right, verse 19. No. Where did you at?
Yeah, verse
Okay,
19.
go ahead.
Do they provoke me to anger, saith Yahuwah? Do they not provoke themselves to the confusion of their own faces? Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, behold, my anger and my fury shall be poured out upon this place, upon man and upon beast, and upon the trees of the field, and upon the fruit of the ground, and it shall burn, and shall not be quenched. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yisrael.
Skip down to verse 25. That's what we read on the Day of Atonement. But read that again. And like I said, when I read that, I said, man, this is a whole lesson right here. But go ahead.
Since the day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Mizraim unto this day, I have even sent unto you all my servants, the prophets, daily rising up early and sending them. Yet they hearken not unto me, nor incline their ear, but harden their neck. They did worse than their fathers. Therefore you shall speak all these words unto them, but they will not hearken to you. You shall also call unto them, but they will not answer you. But you shall say unto them, this is a nation that obeys not the voice of Yahuwah their Elohim, nor receives correction. Truth is perished and is cut off from their mouth.
That's sad. Cut off from the mouth of the priest. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Cut off your hair, O Jerusalem, and cast it away, and take up a lamentation on high places. For Yahuwah hath rejected and forsaken the generation of his wrath. For the children of Yahuwah have done evil in my sight, saith Yahuwah. They have set their abominations in the house which is called by my name.
Okay, let's stop right there. So again, we're reading about what the Father have done to the chosen people. And if the Father have cast his chosen people out, then how do the rest of the world get to know him?
Yeah, it's gonna be hard because like they said, they did more evil than their fathers did because they was actually in the Father's house. It was, the Father brought people daily. The Father brought people daily to them to preach his word.
Yeah.
So therefore, they wasn't enslaved like they were before in Mizraim, to where they were in their land, and being influenced by their deities. But they were away from that, where the Father took them out of that and actually, taught them his, laws and statutes and commandments, and had people daily talking to them daily. So it's almost like someone sitting there saying that, okay, this is what this is where your heart's supposed to be each and every day, but you continuously turn away, and the Father was even in their presence as well in that land. So to even have the Father presence in there, and they still do even more wicked than their fathers, that even shows how stiff-necked. And that's when I look at that verse and saying how hard their neck is, I look how stiff-necked those people were.
That reminds me of a really good book called Shemaiah the Lawgiver. You guys should read it.
Oh man, I wish I could have that one-on-one with the Father.
I know. Absolutely.
That's even above anything
Absolutely.
in this lifetime.
All right. We got a little bit more to go, y'all. Let's go to 2 Kings, the 17th chapter. And we're going to read concerning when the 10 tribes was cast out. See, the world's understanding of the Most High has to be based off of what we read about him in these scriptures. But they have a whole different dynamic based off of paganism, based off of everything in terms of their idols, which is another reason why the world can't know him. Because what did I say earlier, 12? That our heritage has been hijacked by the nations that have created their own deities, their own religions. 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, and just pick it up right to the point, verse 7.
For so it was that the children of Yisrael had sinned against Yahuwah their Elohim, which had brought them up out of the land of Mizraim from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, and feared idols, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom Yahuwah cast out from before the children of Yisrael. and of the kings of Yashar which they had made.
And he's saying this here, and it just kind of puts me in the mind to understand that the Father, the Most High, the creator of heaven and earth, he sees everything as one.
Right.
And I'm saying that to say is that he recalls something that happened approximately, I could be wrong just throwing out a number, 1,000 years ago, when he brought Israel out of Mizraim. But he's like, I'm consistent. But y'all like, damn, that was a long time ago. Long time. Well, wait a minute. What I established to you was meant to be
Forever.
Law given forever.
forever.
Generation to generation.
Forever. Just because you're tired and you complacent and you this and you that. What I established with y'all was something to be established forever. Forever, forever, forever. Okay? But you disrespected it, okay? So again, he said, for so, verse 7, children of Yahweh had sinned against Yahuwah the Elohim, which had brought them up out of the land of Mizraim. See, this is the Elohim I know. I don't know no other Elohim. The Elohim that brought these people up out of Mizraim is the one that I serve. The one, that same one that said, thou shalt do this, thou shalt not do that. That's the one I serve. Those who believe as I believe, and I'm saying believe, those who have the same faith as I have, serve the same Elohim that I have in the same exact way. Right? I'm out here, and for whatever reason, I'm out here doing something a little bit contrary to what Elohim have said. But those that believe in Elohim say, oh, bro, hey, man, look, check this out, man. Well, why you doing that, man? You know that this is what this says and this is what that says. And then I have to humble myself. If I don't humble myself, we ain't serving the same Elohim at that point. Does that make sense? If I don't humble myself because Brother Yosef said, man, I love you, brother. You know I love you, man. But that right there, man, you're not doing it. I'm like, man, Yosef, on somewhere, man. I don't know. We're serving two different Elohim at that point. All right. So this is the only true Elohim right here. And there's somewhere in the scripture where it says that. But what it says here, it says, which had brought them out of the land of Mizraim from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, and had feared other elves. Feared other elves. Somebody help me with that. I just gave an example, right? I'm like, forget you, Yosef. Forget Yosef, and look, man, you just don't understand and forget. So now my actions is reflective of me fearing some other Elohim. Even if I don't call it Elohim. I'm atheist. I don't believe in no one. Oh, yeah, well, you believe in another Elohim.
True.
Absolutely, you believe in it.
I just saw this post. It was like the God that would say the God of the Christians is not the one that's in the Bible. So all atheists should reconsider and go back and read the scriptures and understand who the Elohim is and who versus what the Christian God is. Because
Right.
The children of children of these chosen people, they're not in the churches. They're not. He told us to come up from under her, so they should reconsider and look at the scriptures and understand that those are two different.
And see, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's a good point. Because the true Elohim, if you're going to look for him, you're going to base your whole understanding of God based off of Christianity. You're going to come up missing and lacking understanding. So you may as well be an atheist because you don't have no reference to, like I said, if you don't know the people
Yep.
cannot.
You know they're Elohim.
Right. You can't just see an atheist to come to any one of us and be like, why do you believe what you believe? Let's see. Let's see. Because that is the true power of the Father's word. He says what he says and it comes to pass. He says what he says and it comes to pass. But if you're not smart enough to understand who he is, you're not going to be able to teach it to somebody else, much less believe it yourself.
Right.
All
Or
right?
if he hasn't opened your eyes and heart to that too.
Right? Absolutely. But see, the only thing about that is that he promised you that if you seek him,
True.
he will be found.
That's right.
If you're seeking a religion, you're going to go to whatever suits your fancy. But if you seek the Most High,
As I was 3 years ago.
right,
Who he really is.
who he really is and not who you want him to be, you will find him. You're going to find him.
Oh, yeah.
He is not far at all. He's right there. Just right there on your living room table. But go ahead.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
we're starting at verse 9 because they didn't know where we were. We're at 2 Kings chapter 17. We started at 7 now.
And read verse 8.
Okay, we're going to read verse 8 again. And walked in statues of the heathen whom Yahuwah cast out from before the children of Yashrael, and of the kings of Yashrael which they had made. And the children of Yashrael did secretly those things that were not right against Yahuwah their Elohim. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set them up images in groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom Yahuwah carried away before them, and brought wicked things to provoke Yahuwah to anger. For they serve idols, whereof Yahuwah has said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. Yet Yahuwah testified against Yisrael and against Yahudah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like to the neck of their fathers that did not believe in Yahuwah their Elohim.
Right. So again, just like I shared with my brother earlier today, the law is the Constitution. The commandments are the Bill of Rights to the Constitution. And they belong to us. But you didn't have enough pride in what was given to you to be obedient to that. The same law that Father said in my favorite chapter, Deuteronomy 4th chapter, that when other nations hear this law, they're going to lose their mind. I'm paraphrasing. They're going to be like, man, what nation on the face of the earth have all this law and have the Father so near to them? See, and so the religions now, they try to teach us to separate the Most High from the law. And you can't do that. I love God, but you don't love the law. That's not, who said God who is no God, Elohim
Right.
who is no Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
You can't separate the Father from the law.
Right.
Old or New Testament, whatever you want to say, you cannot separate them from his word.
Right.
Can you make that statement again? The Constitution, the law is the Constitution.
Yeah, the law, when I say Constitution, I'm talking about America.
Yeah.
The law is the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
The commandments are simply the Bill of Rights, which is the first 10 amendments of the Constitution.
Right.
All of it is law.
Right.
It's just that they put a name to the first 10 amendments and called it the Bill of Rights.
Right.
It's all the law. Every last one of it is the law.
Right.
Okay. So here he said, this is what happened to the 10 tribes of Israel
Mm-hmm.
that the Father had. What verse are we at now?
I'm at 15 now.
Okay.
It's 2 Kings 17. I'm starting at verse 15 now. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Yahuwah had charged them that they should not do like them.
Now, just understand, because some people read this and don't understand. We went after the heathen not to teach them the truth, but to worship their gods. I have to qualify that. To replicate them, right. So I have to qualify that, okay? Because as an example, Jonah was sent to the heathen. He was sent to chase after the heathen, to keep them from dying. The book of Jonah. Okay. Anyway, where we at?
Verse 16. And they left all the commandments of Yahuwah, their Elohim, and made them molten images.
And they ain't keep some of them. Not even some of them.
They left all the commandments.
There's somewhere in the book of Jeremiah ain't even got this. He said, man, if y'all would have just kept my Sabbaths,
yeah,
y'all would still been in the land.
Yeah.
Just the Sabbaths.
The simple one day.
Man, the Sabbath, which is a sign between me and my people.
Yeah.
How long?
Forever.
Forever. Nope, sorry, can't do it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Even, I started again. Verse 16. And they left all the commandments of Yahuwah the Elohim and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove and worshiped all the host of heaven and served Baal, or served the Lord.
Right. That's who the Lord is. Baal. Right. Look it up. Look it up. Go ahead.
And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and used divinations and enchantments and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Yahuwah to provoke him to anger. Therefore, Yahuwah was very angry with Yashrael and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Yahudah only. And Yahudah kept not the commandments of Yahuwah, their Elohim, but walked in the statutes of Yashrael, which they made.
Okay, you can start right there. So I just wanted to read that. Just so and look, the 10 tribes had their own kingdom, which was called Yashrael, Israel, and Yahudah was right situated under them to the south. I'm sure that if you look, and you ain't got to look hard, you will find reference books that would show concerning Israel being scattered by the hands of the Assyrians.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's history.
Right.
Ain't just some mythical book we're reading out of.
Evidence.
It's evidence, historical evidence. So like I say, the Europeans had not yet come into power to define history at this point. But you can still find that, though. That's what happened. And you can find the year that it happened. All of that. All of that. And then you'll find that the people that was moved into the place, and then became called Samaritans. And when you read in the New Testament, you read about them Samaritans, and they still got a history and everything to this day, still in the same land right there.
Right.
But the original people were cast out. So you got to, like, what do I always say, Andrea?
You gotta look at this from a historical dynamic.
Even the conversation.
The Bible's Black history.
Hey, it's history, period. But go ahead.
It was
Even
his
the conversation with Yeshua and the woman at the well, listening to the dialogue.
Right.
And understanding the dialogue of the well itself. That well right there being an historical
Right.
let's say,
Yosef,
Landmark.
really.
Landmark.
Yeah.
landmark.
Right.
Yeah. Being
Right.
that we were in
Right. And I'm sure there are tours there in the land that they
Oh,
say,
sure.
yeah, this is that well right here.
It's the
This-
well, the
Right.
Messiah's
All that. All that. Okay, move right along, y'all. Move right. Let's go into Isaiah 24 real quick. I'm sorry, y'all. This was a lengthy one right here.
It's so good though.
Oh, hey, that's
it's
like-
gonna be my favorite.
Man, hallelujah. Truly important because that's why there's so much confusion in the world today. Because we done made God be whoever we want him to be because we don't understand how to understand the reality of who he is.
Right.
But Isaiah 24, and let's start. I'm gonna go start right into the point. Isaiah 24 and verse 4.
Isaiah 24 and verse
Uh-huh.
4. The earth mourns and fades away. The world languishes and fades away. The haughty people of the earth do languish.
Oh, what nationality are we talking about right here?
Israel.
What ethnicity are we talking about right here?
Shem's children.
Talking about the
No?
Y'all thinking too doggone
We
hard.
taking too hard? We taking too hard?
Thinking too hard.
Okay,
Maybe
so-
I shouldn't have asked that question.
Don't ask.
There ain't no ethnicity here in this verse.
trick
Come
question.
on.
Oh, that was a trick question.
It said the earth.
The earth.
The earth.
Got
All
it.
the earth mourns and fade away. Then it said, if you don't believe the earth, it says the world. I apologize. I shouldn't have asked that question.
Yeah,
I
I was like, I don't
apologize.
see it.
And that's what you should have said. That's what you
shit,
should
I'm
have
trying to read.
said.
I'm reading back.
What ethnicity do we read about right here? There ain't no ethnicity. The world language is fading away. It said the haughty people of the earth do language. How many people can bear witness that this earth is languishing right now?
Mhm.
Everyone.
Everyone.
Huh?
Yep.
Probably even some non-believers, huh?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
Okay. What else it says here?
The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
Again, what ethnicity are we talking about?
I know where you part. Stop it.
The earth also defiled is defiled. Defiled. That's an interesting word. Defiled.
Made unclean.
Made unclean. Thank you. Made unclean. Defiled. Polluted. What? Wait a minute. Come on. Wait. Defiled. See, that's not a word that I'm used to hearing in everyday language. Defiled. So when I see that word defiled, let's stop it right there. That means that it's something that the inhabitants of the earth are doing that they should not be doing. Huh?
Yes.
The earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Somebody help me with that. Help me with that. Give me some examples of what that's talking about. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Help me out with
When
that.
you do abominable things, that defiles the planet.
Okay.
We got factories.
And you said abominable things. I like that word abominable. See, that's another word. You don't hear that word all the time. You can hear the word defile. I don't see nobody on the news talking about it was abominable. Except during Christmas when you talk about the snowman. That's a whole nother thing.
That's old man jokes.
Okay, so and then you said, what did you say? You said there's pollution, and then pollution.
How about eating unclean?
Okay, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for you guys to give me the biblical dynamic of this defile.
So
So-
eating the crustaceans, the things that are meant to clean the ocean.
Okay, so she said the ocean, because the ocean is part of the earth,
Yeah.
and we find throughout all the world there are things going on with the water that even the fish don't want to stay in it.
Yeah, but even the actions of man, there's somewhere he said where because of their transgressions or because of their actions, so the earth is not defiled. Something about being defiled.
That's normally with the like.
No, but it's the truth. He said it in here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So go on to what Andrea was saying, and it's really telling you the same thing what you just said. It's the inhabitants of the earth. It's their actions, absolutely.
Think about just the spilling of blood, like thou shalt not kill.
Right.
The
Right.
spilling of the
Right,
blood. is-
right.
I think about, when we talk about Chicago, but you know, there are certain areas where they had so much slaughtering that the earth is just saturated with the blood and
Yeah.
you still smell it.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Mhm.
so yeah.
Right. But just speaking from a universal dynamic, though, and going again in what Andrea said, we know that the Father told us the things that defile us, he used the term defile. And when you eat the things in the waters,
Oysters, crabs.
all them things
The
that he
filters,
told us
yeah.
not to eat,
Yeah.
we have defiled the earth.
Which is, the ocean is 2/3 of the earth.
Right.
That's
Right.
a huge
Well,
chunk.
water as a whole is
Water.
Yeah.
over 2/3 of the earth.
Maybe we should maybe we should change and say, don't do that. Maybe we should say, eat this so that the waters will stay clean. Maybe we should reverse it, do reverse
It's
cycle.
Most times they go eat, everybody can eat,
Right.
and then.
But like you say, we're eating the filters of the earth
It's there, that filter.
because all living things in the earth was not created to be eaten.
Mhm.
So when we eat these things, it pollutes the earth. Okay? Pollutes the waters, rather. And then same thing with the earth. We're eating things that were meant to clean the earth. And when you eat those things, you are what? Defiling the earth.
Because I flesh of blood.
Okay, absolutely. And here's another thing too, same thing with birds, because there are certain fowls that we can't eat. Most of those fowls fly. Most of them
Clean
do.
the air.
And they help clean the air too. You see air pollution, and you don't see a whole lot of birds around.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, we do not.
See?
They also clean the earth too.
Right, 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 right.
Or
So,
cultivate the earth.
right, right. See, so when we don't know what the Father have commanded us, or we are ignorant to it because that lobster tastes so doggone good with more butter.
I just hate to
Put
be
that butter on it, Jack. I am in heaven. I'm just joking. I've never eaten lobster ever in my life. I'm just joking.
I did.
But shrimp, I've had shrimp.
I didn't know that wasn't my thing.
No, because see, shrimp is in the hood. Shrimp is kind of easy to get.
Everywhere.
Just like here, crabs is like on every block. I never eaten crab before, but Chi-Town, boy, you know, shrimp being the little chicken spots, shrimp. You like, man, 5-piece chicken or a 10-piece shrimp. Which one you want?
See, I didn't know
What did
about
you
that
say?
stuff.
30 pieces of shrimp.
That's right. There you go. There you go. There you go. All
You know
that.
what? I'm thankful for growing up in upstate New York because we had cod and whiting and perch.
You bougie.
Y'all,
I'm bougie.
still ain't got no sense up there.
I'm bougie. I didn't have that. We had to know what they had, what you had. What's that?
Catfish.
They had catfish.
Right. I ain't catfish.
Catfish.
Oh.
Mustache.
All right. So where we at? It says what verse are we at?
I'm sorry. Where we started at verse
Well,
1?
5 says the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof
Mhm.
because they have what? What it said because they did what?
Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
Now
That was verse
I
1.
don't know how deep, and this really ain't that deep, but understand that the laws of the Father were to be the laws of the entire earth.
Mm.
So Russia, just because you think you don't know YAH, y'all defiled up there because y'all doing things contrary to what the Father commanded the earth.
Mm.
But it all comes down to Yashrael.
Right.
Because when you don't know the Father's people, that means you are ignorant of his laws and statutes, but you still gonna suffer the consequences of the absence of the Father's laws and statutes. Huh? Y'all see the connection right there.
Right.
He said the earth is defiled, not, and that's what made me say ethnicity, because like, okay, no, the earth, the entire earth is defiled under the inhabitants, people thereof, because they have transgressed the laws of the Creator, what we're talking about. Change the ordinance, because the Father had his ordinance, but your religion has their own ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. That's why it's defiled.
Mhm.
Hey, we as Israel have a lot to apologize for,
Yes.
even to the heathen.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because-
Yeah. Oh no. No.
It's
Go
right
ahead.
there. No, I was gonna say, and the reason why we should apologize to the heathen because it's right here.
Right. Absolutely.
Therefore, I'm sorry, because other people came in. Isaiah 24 at verse 6.
Uh huh.
Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left.
Okay. So stop there. Stop there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I love the segue. Skip down. Skip down to verse 18.
Verse 18. And it shall come to pass that he who flees from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit, and he that comes up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundation of the earth do shake. The earth is utterly broken down. The
Wow.
earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly.
Mm-hmm.
The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again.
Mm.
And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered together, as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days they shall be visited. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when Yahuwah of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem before his ancient glorious.
And I think you said ooh because we was talking about this
Yeah.
Previously, because you would be surprised how many times you can see this same reference throughout the prophets
Yep.
and in the New Testament,
Yep.
right? You'd be surprised. And they all talking about the same time, right? Which is a time that has not gotten here yet.
Mhm.
So based off of this, we find that the world, ooh. Oh, okay. We have just a little bit technical. Go up a little bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That it?
Here, you can see right here.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it fell.
Oh, did? Okay. Okay. That's fine.
Turn
There
it.
you go. There you go. He on me. He got it. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Go ahead, bro.
Yep.
Yep,
All right.
right there. Yep.
Okay. But we see how important it is to follow his laws and statutes, how the absence of the laws and statutes affect the entire earth. Fair enough?
Mm-hmm.
All right. But he said that he's gonna come and deal with that at the time appointed. And that's what we're looking forward to, the kingdom of the Most High. All right. 1 Corinthians, 2nd chapter. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get through this, y'all. I'm gonna try to get through this quickly as possible. If anybody ever said, man, that brother loves the sound of his own voice. No, I don't. I hate speaking for a long time. 1 Corinthians, 2nd chapter.
Hold on. Let me make sure they know it in the chat room. Pat is responding.
Yep. 1 Corinthians, 2nd chapter. Okay.
Okay, just give me the verse.
And verse 4.
First Corinthians, 2nd chapter, verse 4. Hallelujah.
know, a little bit. This is just a little something that Paul shared that I think was something that was kind of good to understand. But go ahead.
And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Elohim.
He's letting you know there's a difference between the wisdom of men and the power of the Most High. Go ahead.
Howbeit, we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught.
So chances are that everybody within the sound of my voice right now, whether you are live or whether you are listening to this, at this point, if you're not bound or are under the Spirit of the Most High, you're probably not listening because you probably turned this off a long time ago and forgot you was even watching this video, okay? Because the thing is that what we're doing and sharing and reading out of it, the average man cannot comprehend it, cannot sustain it, cannot abide by it. It's just not something that the average, and just like even when you all have conversations with people, average people, you can have this type of conversation with just the average person out here in the street. But those that are moved and living within the Spirit of the Most High, this is an awesome conversation that you can have with them all day, every day. They understand what you're saying. You understand what they're saying. It's all according to the Spirit. But the average person wouldn't even be able to, they'll be like, what y'all talking about? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll catch you, whenever. And we can talk about something other than this, Jaguars.
Gossip.
Huh?
Gossip.
Oh, man. Talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Man. Okay, but that's what he's saying. He said, and my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom. Verse 6, I'm sorry. Howbeit, we speak wisdom among them that are perfect. That because only the perfect, or those of us that seek that perfection, can handle this wisdom. Yet not the wisdom of this world, because the wise of this world don't know the Father.
They want nothing to do with it.
Don't want nothing to do with it, nor of the princes of this world that come to zero. Go ahead.
There's a comment. I don't know which one you commented to, Pat. She said when people worship demons, they will do demonic things.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, verse
And
7.
when people worship Yah, they will do Yah.
Righteous. Yeah.
Right.
Verse 7. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 7. But we speak the wisdom of Elohim in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which Elohim ordained before the world unto our glory, which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known it, they would not have crucified the master of glory.
Now, wait a minute. See, I might have an issue with Paul here. And some people like, brother, look, Paul was just another brother, okay? I can question anything that any human being says if it don't line up. So I'm going to ask a question before I say this.
Mm-hmm.
When he says the princes of the world, who is he referring to?
The kings and the people who rule the world.
He says, which none of the princes of the world knew, but had they known it, they would not have crucified the master of glory.
That's not true, though.
Oh, see, you caught it.
Yeah.
You caught that. Huh?
Because even Caiaphas said it. It was good that one should die.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. If the prince of the world is anybody other than Israel, which is kind of what it implies, nobody but Israel put Yeshua to death. You cannot credit anybody outside of Israel. That's what we dealt with. Because why? Because he had to die according to the Levitical priesthood.
right.
We just dealt with that. So see, I kind of don't know what he's saying there. He's probably implying that, but ain't no princes of the world. It's our people. The Sanhedrin Council.
Matter of fact, I would say this: his world, the world that he wasn't talking about. I would say this is his.
Oh,
Well, I would
No,
like to
no,
believe
I'm
that
just-
that's what
I'm
he's
just
talking
saying,
about.
I got a different view on that now.
No, but just I was,
Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
I was just gonna say the definition of world is different, like from my perspective
Uh-huh.
towards your perspective of world.
Okay.
If you're two different people, this being made for us. If this was something else, like some Islamic book or something like that, the world of the Islam or the world of the Hindus, the world of the, you know what I mean? So it's like, I would think
I don't.
personalizing it.
What was you about to say? I got to hear this.
Okay, now what I was gonna say when they say when none of the princes of this world was new, they were talking about some of the either Sabian or other powers of the world, because if they like those who knew the law, we knew that it had to be done. But now I'm thinking that the deities are different, not deities, but different people would not want him to be crucified, because if he's not crucified, then the promises can't be given and other things take place by him not being crucified. So the principalities of the world didn't want him to be crucified.
Who are the principalities of the
I would
world?
think like either I don't know, like it's like Satan would want him to be crucified, because long as he get crucified, the promises everything
Right,
will
so I'm
come
still
true.
trying to, okay,
So
but
the
that's,
prince of the power could be Satan in that case, because Satan don't want him to be.
yeah. All what y'all saying sound good, but I'm going to disagree.
But I mean, I don't know what you said. I go, but I'm just saying the difference where it could have.
No, the thing is,
Satan didn't want him to be crucified.
yeah, but I know what you're saying is correct.
That's
But in
true.
terms of this power of the world, I'm disagreeing with all y'all. The reason why, because these Israelites do the same thing. They say, man, John 3:16, for God so loved the world. Do you know what that word "world" means, man? World don't talk about world.
Right.
It's talking about Israel world.
Right.
But that ain't right, though. That's not what the verse is saying.
Right.
When it says world, it means exactly that. It ain't for us to play on that. It's talking about our world. No, if it says our world, then for Yah so loved our world. And even if it said our world, that's still kind of shaky there. But that's the same thing that's getting here. When he said the princes of the world, I believe he means exactly what he said without. What was you about to say?
I was just saying, like I think you was probably saying what I was gonna say. You know how, as a people, we always want somebody to rule over us instead of the Most High to rule over us. When we have the Father right there, we always want somebody to rule over us. And we look at those people who are ruling over us have some type of power over us. And that's how I look. Like you don't want me as, you know what I mean? You don't want to turn to me as your father, as but you want a king. You want me to put a king, to establish a king. You remember we had all these horrible kings, throughout history. But the Father was right there. Even in the wilderness, he was right there. You had the Father right there.
Mm-hmm.
But they kept wanting the king. And these princes of the world that you constantly want, they are nothing. You have the Father. And that's how I was looking at it.
Okay.
How I
And
see
that's
this,
in the world.
I kind of see it that way too. And I also see it when I'm reading this, which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known, they would not have crucified the master, which we know isn't true, because the only reason why the Romans even brought him in is because our people made them feel like, yo, this dude over here calling himself a king. We know there's only one king. So the king of Rome was jealous. It's the only reason why he was brought into the court. They would have killed him anyway, because they didn't. Even the Egyptians would have killed him, because they considered themselves gods when they became king. So this dude can't consider himself the king, and I'm the king. So it's like, no, that's not gonna work. Neither One of us got to go.
So, okay, so by your definition, what do you think he meant when he said the princes of the world?
When he said the princes of the world, I think he meant the leaders of the world, which is not true.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the exact same thing. Because it's all about verbiage. Because he could easily say our leaders,
Right.
our priests.
Right.
That was us. But when he said of the world,
The sons of the world. He could have said the sons of the world. It's the same thing. It's the princes, the ones who.
I
rule the
think
world.
it's just so clear to me that he's saying what he means.
Right.
Which is, you know,
the princes of the world, the people who ruled the
That's
world
it,
at that
I
time.
agree with y'all, but I was saying from another perspective, because you were like, how, what else it could? I was like, okay, well, it could also go with like Satan, being like, hey, look, as long as we don't crucify, none of the stuff can
see,
happen.
but that's going too far because he could have easily said Satan.
Oh,
See, I don't
Yeah.
think that he's
Well, I
right
say
in
the
the way
prince
in
of the
which
world
he's being
is
symbolic.
The prince of the world would be Satan. You know, because
Yeah, but he could have
world
said.
of Rome, domain.
See, I can't see it like
Yeah.
that. He could have easily just said Satan,
Right.
and he wouldn't say prince of. He would have said the God of the world or something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, okay.
You know, but when he's talking about
Princes,
earthly,
he talking about the people
men.
who- Yeah.
Right.
Earthly men, yeah.
right? Because again, just like according to what you're saying, true, Satan did not want him to be
Right.
crucified.
Right.
So therefore, it couldn't have been Satan
Right.
because he did not, like you say, did not want him to be crucified. Right. So he said, which none of the princes, well, that's more than one, of this world knew, or had they known it, they would not be
I think
crucified.
that part is not right either. For how they know. They were-
Yeah, he kind of,
This
yeah.
whole verse.
Right. Exactly. But anyway, read that next verse.
But as it is written, I have not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Elohim hath prepared for them that love him. But Elohim hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searches all things, yes, the deep things of Elohim.
Now, what he said right there was 100.
That was.
He said, but Elohim have revealed them unto us. Who is us?
Yashrael, those keeping the commandments.
That's what I'm talking about. Us is those who are keeping the commandments. That's who us is. Not limited to a bloodline or ethnicity. If you serving YAH, this is who he's talking about.
Yeah.
But that's Elohim have revealed them unto us by what? By his Ruach. Right? And how that is? Because it says, for the Spirit searching all things, yeah, the deep things of Elohim. Is that not what we doing right now?
Yeah.
Y'all not sitting here listening to some man talk out of his own mouth for 2-3 hours after he done gave 2 verses as his text.
Right. Right. He's talking outside.
Search the anyway. If you search, you can, and that's the thing. When you search these deep things, you have to be a commandment keeper. You can't search the deep things of the Father and then be doing contrary. Now, come on, it just don't.
How can you see it if you're not seeking?
Right? Absolutely. Okay, keep going.
For verse 11, right?
Uh-huh.
1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. For what man knows the things of a man, save the spirit of man which is in him? Even so, the things of Elohim knows no man, but the spirit of Elohim. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of Elohim, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of Elohim. Which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teaches, but which the Holy Spirit teaches, comparing spiritual things with spiritual.
Right, and if you don't have no respect for the Ruach, man, I can't have this conversation with you.
Right.
I could be saying, showing you something throughout the scripture all day, and you just would not have the, not get it. And then I'll frustrate myself because I didn't have the system enough to understand. You know that person wasn't gonna be able to accept this.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
And to bring your point in where you talked about who was the us, he's speaking to the Corinthians. And as Andrea would say, I didn't even know you left. And you have to look at it from a historical aspect. So there you go. He's talking. Who's the audience he's speaking to?
Right. True that.
Yeah.
True that.
Verse 14. But the natural man receives not the things of the spirit of Elohim,
Mm-mm.
for they are foolishness unto
That's
him.
right, brother. Y'all from foolishness.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is judge of no man. For who hath known the mind of Yahuwah, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of the Messiah.
So again, Yah's people are the foundation for anyone to know Yah. You know, the whole Bible, as we call it, or scriptures, is between the Father and his people.
Mhm.
If you're not part of his people, then you have to join yourself to the people. Oh, I didn't have that in here. Let me read that. And the reason why you have to join yourself to people because of what it says right here in Romans, the 9th chapter. Let's go there and read that. Paul speaking here, and understand from a historical dynamic that Paul had issues with some of us. So much that there was blood being shed between, some of us wanted his head.
You're welcome. We're in Romans 9. Andrea said like a wild olive tree.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You're welcome. And we're in Romans 9,
Right.
verse.
Verse 1.
I was starting at verse 1. I say the truth in Mashiach, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Mashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh.
Right. That's my personal thought, okay? That's my personal thought. I wish myself that I could wish that myself were accursed from Messiah for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, because they get on my nerves. But what about them?
Who are Israelites?
Those are my kinsmen according to my flesh. They are Israelites. Go ahead.
To whom pertains the adoption?
To Israel pertain to adoption. In other words, the adoption don't pertain to nobody else. In another way of understanding that, the adoption means that that's the agency by which I can become a part of the family of the Most High.
Right.
Through the covenant people. And he ain't even said covenant yet, he just said adoption. Mm-hmm. So adoption. I want to be adopted through Yah. Find the people of who the covenants are given to. Mm-hmm. That's what he's saying. To whom pertain the adoption, go ahead.
And the glory.
And the glory. The glory that it exists through the Father, it pertains to Israel. Go ahead.
And the covenants.
Covenants, plural. We're going to read that in just a second. Covenants. Any covenant that was made, old covenant, new covenant, renewed covenant, it was all made with Israel. It was not made with anybody else. Where anybody else outside of Israel joined themselves to Israel, served the Most High. I mean, and think about how deep that is, right? There were people of other, and I ain't just talking about the Gibeonites because they had to save their lives. Mm-hmm. But Gibeonites is an example because they act like they were from afar, mm-hmm. which means that there were people that come from afar, right? Hey, for the what? For the name of Yah. That's what they said. They said, we come for the name of Yah. Ooh, man. And that's the reality. Wait a minute. Think about how deep that is. Could they not just stay where they was at and serve Yah? Not really.
They was going to be,
huh?
Because you really do have to.
Somebody was coming. They were
Right.
coming to be destroyed or be taken over.
No, I ain't talking about the Gibeonites.
Okay.
I'm talking about anybody
Yeah,
else.
that's what I was thinking at first. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, but you're right. No, they couldn't go.
They couldn't.
They had to come and join. the
Because
movement.
as the prophecy said, the law comes forth out of Jerusalem.
Mhm.
And that's the same way it was there. You said it, you just said it earlier. You actually said it earlier about the people who came from where you actually mentioned that earlier. But that's the end of the matter. They wanted to, if wasn't no prophet of Yah there in these places where they were at, they had to go there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They had to go there.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida, and there are a whole bunch of pizzerias here in Jacksonville, Florida. But if I want some real pizza, I gotta go to Chicago. I can't sit up here and be like, I want some real pizza because it ain't gonna happen. I gotta go to Chicago. And no, there's some Chicago people in Orlando that got the pizza too, so maybe I can go there. But I'm just using
It
it
should
as
I'm gonna be nice.
an example. Hey, tell the truth, shake the devil. The point is, if it's not where you at, you're gonna have to get your butt up and go get it.
To New York.
Nah, I'm gonna be nice.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hold my peace.
that's what you do. We're not finished. We're in verse 4.
I said pizza, not cardboard.
I-
But anyway,
Huh.
what verse are we at? What we at?
We're on the one that you're talking about, like a door stopper.
We about to do part 2 of this video that was done like 12, 13 years ago. But this time, everybody gonna know why I'm doing it. So it ain't gonna be because you saw it in the wrong key. You did that earlier and I held my peace.
Yeah, no,
Anyway,
no.
I thought it was just me.
No, it wasn't just you, bro. It wasn't just you. Man. Like I said, man, we ain't got enough Gentiles.
No.
But where we
Okay, verse 4. Look, we're in Romans chapter 9,
Right.
verse 4. You want me to start at the beginning or?
No, just go ahead and go read it. Right.
Who are the Israelites to whom pertain the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of Elohim and the promises?
And I want you to understand something, even reading that. All of this is important in understanding the Father. You got to know all of this if you're going to be close to the Father. You can't take none of this out and say, oh, I know the God. I know who he is. I'm a part of the family of God. No, you're not. But I'm Baptist. No, you're not.
Nah.
I'm Catholic. No, you're not. I'm Islam. No, you're not. You are not really part of the family of the Most High, spiritually speaking, because you just have not joined yourself to the covenant with the people. And ain't, huh?
No, haven't kept his laws, statutes.
Yeah, you outside of the laws and statutes of the Most High. But that being said, to Israel pertain the adoption, the glory, the covenants, we're in the New Testament, the giving of the law, like you said, the service of Elohim, right?
Mhm.
Hey, we got to have somebody here to still do the service, Israelite, sorry. And the promises. You want to attain to the promises of Yahshua, because we do have promises, and we're going to read in a minute. You can join yourself to the people, and you will be a partaker of those promises. Partaker of the covenant, partakers to all of it. Verse 5.
Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Mashiach came, who is over all. Elohim blessed forever. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Okay, moving right along. Speaking of which, Hebrews 8th chapter. Hebrews the 8th chapter. Now, see the same thing right here. We could have read it in Jeremiah, but I'm reading it in a New Testament writing. Hebrews the 8th chapter. And start this off at verse 7. And again, and I don't know, I really don't know who wrote the book of Hebrews. Some people say Paul wrote it, some people say what Paul, so it don't matter, it's right here. So, Hebrews 8 chapter 7 verse.
For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second.
Now, understanding, the first covenant was in fact faultless. But he's about to give you an amendment right here. He said if the first covenant had been faultless, and it was faultless, it was without fault, but he about to clarify something. Then should no place have been sought for the second. But check this out. Go ahead.
Verse 8, for finding fault with them.
Them is not the covenant.
Them is the people.
Them is the people. The covenant was faultless. It was the people. And you know what? He's going to touch on what we dealt with on the Day of Atonement. For finding fault with them, go ahead.
He saith, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Yashrael and with the house of Yahuwah.
It ain't with nobody else that he's making this new covenant with. He's making a new covenant with the same people he made the old covenant with. Okay? And proof of that is right here. Go ahead.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers.
Ooh, wait a minute, huh? You gonna tell me, oh, that's something about a spiritual Israel, a spiritual Judah. No, it's the same people. He said, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers. Go ahead.
In the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Mizraim, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahuwah.
Now, right here, you have to stop and pause and be like, wait a minute, a new covenant, and it's not like the covenant that I made with their fathers? I wonder what's the difference in the covenant. Because he says it's not like that covenant. Go ahead.
For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Yashrael after those days, saith Yahuwah. I will put my laws into their mind.
Oh, man, well, scared me for a minute. 12. Because I thought the new covenant wasn't going to have no laws in it. He said, not like the covenant I made with their father. I'm like, man, so the covenant actually had the laws in it. And man, scared me. She said, I will put my laws into their mind. Oh, man. Go ahead.
And write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a Elohim, and they shall be to me a people.
That has not happened yet, y'all. And we're about to show you why it hasn't happened yet. But he said the difference is that instead of me reading it and telling you to be obedient to it and to circumcise your heart, just like you circumcise your flesh, put on a heart of flesh and not a heart of stone. This is all that we read in the first covenant. He says, I will put my laws, the same ones that your forefathers broke, into their mind, and I'm going to write them in their hearts. Go ahead. Read that again.
Okay, and write them in their, and I will be to them a Elohim, and they shall be to me a people.
Uh-huh.
And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahuwah, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest.
That ain't today, y'all. That's not today. It ain't going on now.
You would have to sit up here and preach.
Man, that's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. There would not be no teaching having to take place. But most of the world right now do not know YAH. They know the God of their religions, who is not YAH. Go ahead.
For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. In that he saith, a new covenant he hath made the first old. Now that which decays and wax old is ready to vanish away.
So that right there, again, he letting you know here, hey, that still have yet to happen, and we read it in the New Testament.
Right.
Huh? Man. Okay. Just got a few more places, y'all. I'm sorry for the length of this, but
And Pat said, John 4:22, salvation comes through Yahudah, Yahudim.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Matter of fact, I guess I got to go there and read that. John 4. Where's she at?
Yep, John 4:22.
Okay, let's see. John 4:22. I guess I got to read that. Right.
Oh, we talked about this. The woman at the well.
Right. Right. I'm gonna go right to that point. We ain't gonna read the whole breakdown of
Okay,
this.
John 4:22.
21.
21. Yeshua said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour comes when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship you know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Yahudim.
What? Wait a minute. Did Jesus say this?
Oh, no. Yeshua
Ah.
said that.
Oh,
Yeshua.
we love to teach you, y'all.
That means I should be able to go to a Baptist church and hear the preacher quote Jesus with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they say, hey, salvation is a part of some ethnicity or whatever. But the one that we know historically as Yeshua told this woman, you worship you know not what. And that's what we're telling the whole world today. The whole world in blindness, you worship you know not what. You call yourself Christian, Baptist, all these things you call yourself. You worship you know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Yahudi.
Thank you for that
Yahudah.
fact.
Right. He said, I will make a new covenant with the house of Yashrael and the house of Yahudah. Sound like somebody then got left out, right? But as my young brother would say, hey, get right or get left. You don't have to be left out. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to be left out. We're not these Israelites up here teaching you that you're not that you're gonna die because you're of another ethnicity. I know some people heard that, right? That's what some people got, but we ain't said no such thing. We're just telling you that join yourself to the people that the covenant was made with.
Because
You can't. You look. I'm Japanese, man. I want to be an American citizen. I'm not gonna be an American citizen in Japan. Huh? You're gonna have to come over here to get that American citizenship.
it was really crazy how you know it's not true, because even the Egyptians held us as slaves, and there were some of them that were with us in the wilderness.
Right,
And
absolutely.
they were going into the kingdom. They were with us
Right.
as a people.
Right.
So if we were held as slaves in this country, and in whatever other country we were held as slaves in, and they decide to join themselves onto them, they're rightfully so, because they've repented.
Right. See, that's one of two things, two truths that even Israelites don't comprehend. First truth is that from the very beginning of us being a nation, there were a mixed multitude among us. It was never just a bloodline. When the Father say, "Hear ye, O Yashrael," he's talking to a nation, not just to a bloodline of people. It was a nation. Okay. Second thing is that from the time that we became a nation, we weren't speaking pure Hebrew then. We didn't start off speaking a pure tongue then. All right. So some people try to say, well, this is the pure tongue and this is not the pure tongue, whatever. Man, look, whatever pure tongue that we could have had, we were still doing contrary to the Most High. So whatever tongue we were speaking, that wasn't helping us in that day. All right. I'm saying some of us get so caught up in the Hebrew. Look, I can put 3 Hebrew speakers in one place and read text to them, and they'll come out with 3 different understandings. And they all claim to be speaking Hebrew. Believe me when I tell you. But anyway, I just want to clear that little thing up. Absolutely good point. All right. Moving fast. Deuteronomy the 30th chapter. No, not Deuteronomy 30th chapter. Hold on. Before we go there. I'm ending it with that. Revelations 11th chapter. Oh man, I'm enjoying this now. Revelations 11th chapter. See, it's good to read these scriptures, but you also got to think and let the Ruach marinate while you read it. Don't just be reading words and make you understand it. You like that Ethiopian that told Philip, man, how can I understand? Except the Spirit leads me. And he said, except a man shall show me, but the man has to be guided by the Ruach to even show him, right? Check this out. Since we here. Revelation 11th chapter. I'm going to go directly to the point. Verse 3. This is prophetic. Future have not yet happened yet, but we're looking forward to this happening. Go ahead.
Revelations 11:3.
Yeah.
And I will give power unto my witnesses, and they
Two
shall.
witnesses.
I'm sorry. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth.
Ooh, man. So I know I ain't one of the witnesses, man, because that sack, I don't look good in sackcloth.
These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before Elohim, the Elohim of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeds out of their mouth and devours their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will.
Oh, now, see, I'm again, you have to be thinking as you're reading this, right? So just imagine these 2 witnesses, whoever they be, they're going to be doing this thing here in Jerusalem. They're not only going to be preaching truth, but they're going to be doing these signs.
Mm-hmm.
So just by these 2 witnesses alone, somebody can go from, man, 2 cats, they coming with some strange stuff, but now they showing this power through the Most High, which can change a lot of minds.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? This power are signs, just like in the wilderness with Shemaiah and the plagues of Mizraim. So in other words, I'm letting you know that I serve the true Elohim. And it ain't the Elohim of these Mizraimites. These cats here gonna say, these gods and religions that y'all talking about, that's not the truth. Who we're doing this in the name of YAH. He's the true Elohim. And these signs and wonders is going to be what people are going to be able to see, and especially us specifically. If we're alive during this time, we're going to be like, whoa, y'all see what, man, these cats up in Jerusalem doing this thing here?
Yeah.
Man, watch out, because time is here. Just like I posted in my meme the other day, I say, look, I'm not, how that work? Oh, I'm not looking for no more signs. I'm just waiting for the trumpets to blow.
It's weird because even when I first came into this truth, I'm thinking, how am I going to be able to see that? It's going to be televised. They always said the revolution should not be televised. I was like,
same way everybody saw Elizabeth being buried.
Right, that's what I said.
Right.
It's going to be on the internet.
Right.
That's going to be on the internet, on your phone.
And just like you just saying, how could John understand it?
He couldn't.
How could John understand it? What means could John understand this prophetic taking place
Right.
of the whole world beholding these 2 witnesses in Jerusalem?
Right.
And the whole world ain't never even been to Jerusalem.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep. He wouldn't have been able to understand
Unless
he comprehended the world was just where he was, but no, he couldn't have. He was a smart man,
right.
So he knew that
he wasn't in Jerusalem here.
No. But how
he was in
all
exile.
See that in Jerusalem?
Right. Right. You know, Same thing to John, same thing he said to Daniel. Daniel trying to ask questions, look, go that way. This ain't for you.
Okay.
You're gonna stand in your lot at the end of the day. I'm giving you something for the time to come.
Mhm.
You ain't gonna understand it, but speak it anyway.
Yeah.
That's the power of the Most High. But that's right. So go ahead.
And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Misraim, where also our master was crucified. Wow.
Mm.
Ooh, and that's in Golgotha? Or,
This is Jerusalem.
yeah.
Go ahead.
And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts to one another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
Right. So you have us that's trying to show people truth, and they could choose not to listen and what not to listen. And these two witnesses are going to be coming teaching the exact same thing to a whole world that do not know YAH.
Mm.
So I had to ask, do you truly think that you got a faith and a belief in the gospel that the whole world is going to reject? Huh? If you call yourself a Baptist, these ain't what these two witnesses are. It says that, and they that dwell upon the earth, that's a whole lot of people. This ain't a few people. They is almost the multitude. They gonna rejoice over them and make merry and shall sing gifts. They're gonna hate the testimony of these two witnesses so bad. And you have to ask yourself, is your testimony gonna be one that would cause you to be killed just like these two?
Right.
Or is it one where you could get all your friends and family and y'all all having a good time and rejoicing and whatever? And man, see, that's something people got to think of. The world do not know YAH because they don't know the people. Do you see that? Your faith and belief have to be so contrary to what the people are. Simple as that. And then they're gonna be so happy, man, that they're gonna, sister, as some pointed out on Facebook, which I believe is to a certain degree anyway. Maybe this might be doing the Christmas so-called holiday or whatever.
Yeah, because they're marrying, making merry, and so.
And it's odd, it's funny that he used the term marry, right?
Right.
That'd be like a match game. Mary, what you got, Paul? Right. I got Christmas.
And shall send
right.
gifts one to another.
That's right. Mary and sending gifts. Boy, that'd be that clue right there, right?
Yeah.
That and she'll say, and because these two prophets, he said they tormented.
And you know what? They are tormented when you come against
that's what I'm talking about. Cindy gonna go to work tomorrow and start telling these people the truth at your job. There ain't gonna be no pharmacist that day.
They'll be tormented.
Cindy
Tormented us.
Cindy gonna be doing DoorDash.
Right. Like she tormented us daily.
Yep, that's right.
We
Tormented, harassment, all of that.
That's crazy.
Right.
I remember.
Pass out Christmas cards to everybody at your job, though. You're gonna be the supervisor of supervisors.
Right.
I was working at that Chase that one time I was at the post office. Manager came to me talking about, some of the employees there, he said something about me saying something about Christmas and Halloween and stuff like that. Like they were offended.
Yep.
Something in that nature, yeah.
Why did he just keep it to himself if he wasn't gonna be a part
But you
of
didn't
this?
keep it to yourself.
Exactly.
This
Right.
is the time that I think they feel most offended by this time of year than any other part. They really
Like-
love this month.
Yeah, they do. This whole season that's coming in.
Oh,
It's all dark. Everything about it is dark. The season is dark. The holidays are dark. All of it's dark. This is all dark.
All right, moving right along. Let's go to Revelation 12. Now, I think I only got like 3 quick places to go to, so to speak. 3.
We were done.
Yeah, we done with that. I just want to show concerning the prophecy of these 2 witnesses and how they're going to be so contrary to the world, yet they are the true servants of the Most High.
Yeah.
So, you got to just consider what you believe in, what your faith is. If your faith ain't as opposing as these 2 witnesses that will cause you to get killed, there's something wrong with what you believe in. You are on the broad way to destruction. Revelations 12 chapter. Matter of fact, I'm going to read the 1 verse here. Revelation 12 chapter and verse 9. Again, we're talking about prophecy. We're talking about this time, the end time. Go ahead.
Revelation 12 and 9.
12 and 9.
Here we go. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world.
Some of the world.
The whole world.
Just a little bit of the world.
The whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Oh, so this kind of falls in line with the devil offering Yahshua the entire world, the kingdoms of the earth, right? The kingdoms of the earth and the religions of the earth are contrary to the Most High.
Right.
Satan deceived the whole world, it says, and he deceived them through their religion, their traditions. Everything that's contrary to the Most High is what they deceive the world through.
Right.
Make sure that your faith is not aligned with the world and the world and its religions, okay? One more, 14:12, Revelation 14:12. He go one place here, knocking them out real quick. Revelation the 14th chapter and the 12th verse. You have to read it.
14:12.
Uh-huh. I'm just going directly to the point.
Okay, 14:12. Sorry. All right. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Elohim.
Jesus. Commandments of Jesus.
Keep the commandments of Elohim.
But see, I had to specify.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about the name of Jesus. I'm
Yeah,
talking about
I
some,
know what you
right.
mean. Yeah, 'cause you gotta put that in there.
Yeah, because some people think that the Son's commandments and the Father's commandments are
Two
different.
things.
Right. But here, he's clearly talking about the Father right here.
Yep.
He's clearly talking about the Father. Here are they to keep the commandments of Elohim, of YAH, and what else?
In the faith of Yeshua.
Right. See, so there's 2 different entities he's talking about right there. He's talking about the Father here with the commandments and the faith of Yahshua.
They think it's just one commandment.
Yeah.
Gotta love one another.
What's the other one?
Love him with all your heart, mind,
Right,
soul,
right.
love everyone.
Right.
That's true.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But she summed it up with love. Just love.
Love is my religion.
I serve. My bad.
You know what?
I'm a
How about-
tree. I
Let's see if
love
y'all
the
ever
tree.
thought about it. See if y'all ever thought about this though, right? Listen,
Yeah.
it says the commandments of Elohim.
And the faith
And the
of
faith.
Yeshua.
It didn't say, I'm just saying, it didn't say the faith in Yahshua.
It said the faith of
Oh.
Yeshua.
Oh.
So you
I'm just saying, I ain't saying you don't have faith in Yahshua. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want nobody to misunderstand me. But what it says here, what we're reading says
you
the
have to
faith
be
of Yahshua.
like it's like the other scripture said, if you love him, you ought, like she said, if you love him, you ought to have walked as he walked.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. See, if you understand and saying faith in
I know what you're
Yahshua,
saying. I know.
then you're thinking about, oh, I believe in Yahshua.
Right,
But what's written is faith of Yahshua.
right.
He spoke one of his faith when he says, "Not my will,
But thy
but the
will.
Father will."
Mm.
I didn't come. So you got so, but you're going to like what you quoted, 1 John, 2nd chapter, 4th chapter. Walk even as he walked.
Even as
Whatever
he
you
walked.
understood his faith to be. Did he keep the Sabbath?
Yep.
Did he keep the Sabbath? Can we
Yeah.
find where he kept the Sabbath?
What he say? Whatever you see me do, you do.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was
That was
faith.
what his
Yeah, I mean,
words.
even unto death, he didn't give up on the Father. He
Right.
was like, Father, if this cup pass from me, but not my will.
Right.
Ooh, your will be
But
done.
but so again, if we have not gotten to this time yet in Revelation 14 chapter,
Right.
and I don't think nobody can dispute whether we got to this time, then we have to be keeping the commandments of the Father,
Right.
the
Hallelujah.
commandments of Elohim.
Yep.
Nah, for the end.
It's the piece de resistance.
That's right. Sure enough is. Sure enough is. All y'all speak English, but I know y'all understood what that meant, right? Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter. Y'all only got one more place after this. Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter. Blessed be to everybody that have stayed in this long lesson we got today, y'all. But hey, why can't the world hear or see Yah? That's what we're dealing with. You can't know the Father if you don't know the people. Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, and 18. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, we just dealt with this too. Go ahead. Start at verse 1. Start at verse 1.
Okay.
Too much good stuff.
All right. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations where Yahuwah your Elohim have driven you.
And this is deep, y'all. That's deep because he's talking to his people again right here. But it takes those, the elect, to be out here doing this work to show the people this truth so that it can be called to their mind. Okay? Just like it was called our mind, it's got to be called to our mind collectively. Where? In the land that he had driven us. Okay? In the land that he had driven us, and we call this to mind, then what do?
And shall return unto Yahuwah your Elohim, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command you this day.
We're in the land of our captivity, so I think that got to be some of what he commanded us. Huh?
All of what he commanded us.
Ain't that something? He let you know right now that there cannot be no entity that could come into place and say, you know what, you don't have to keep all that he commanded you. And outside of Jerusalem.
It has to be the same way them 3 Hebrew boys did it. Man, we is not careful to answer you on this.
Hey, that's a very good example right there. They were not in their land, but they still, huh?
I would say Hananiah.
Yeah, Mishael,
Mishael.
and Azariah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We ain't careful to answer.
We
you
not,
on this.
that's right, man. Look, whatever king, whatever religion you trying to set before us, man, we not with that. Everybody else bound down, but not us. Hallelujah. But see how deep that is. They said, and shall return unto Yah that Elohim, and shall obey his voice. Because you cannot return, say, I return to him, and then you not keeping his commandments. It's impossible.
You never was with them if you didn't.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, true that. And he said, this day you, your children, with some of your heart,
with all of your heart.
and with all thy soul.
That
This
this
must have been what Yahshua was talking about right here. Too.
Yeah.
Ain't that something? with all your heart and with all your soul. Go ahead.
That then Yahuwah your Elohim will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, and will return and gather you from all the nations where Yahuwah your Elohim have scattered
Sister,
you.
what are you talking about? I am not in no captivity. I'm not in no captivity.
If you
man.
ain't in captivity, then try getting on any plane, train, or automobile going to another country without a passport and tell me what happened.
Hey,
I'll wait.
my my answer to that is so much simpler than that. What y'all think my answer to that is?
You gonna go in with cargo?
Huh? I'm talking about my answer to somebody saying they're not in captivity.
Oh, I like to hear yours. I don't know.
Oh, my answer is the bomb. I'm like, what's your name again?
Ooh.
Explain that to me again.
You know, I like that.
Oh, Turner. What?
Yeah.
That ain't Turner.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
that name come from? Because I remember Ted Turner in Atlanta. Are y'all related to him?
Mhm.
Can't get around that.
Yep.
See, that's what I'm saying. You gotta kid him with the most simplest thing ever.
Yep.
You can't get no easier than that. You're not in captivity, y'all. Man, what's your name again?
Right. Was that your people name before you?
Yeah, Turner. How interesting. You don't look like a Turner.
This Ted Turner has got a lot of money. You better go over and get your dough.
Yeah, man. I didn't know I was speaking of royalty over here.
Right.
Shoot, man. And scripture saying me in the time of the Gentiles, man, let me hold $5. Go ahead.
Verse. Okay.
$5.
Verse
See, that's the
4.
thing. They ain't gonna give you $5, but less than $5. But go ahead.
Verse 4, Deuteronomy 30 and verse 4. And if any of yours be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from there will Yahuwah your Elohim gather you, and from there will he fetch you. And Yahuwah your Elohim will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it, and he will do you good and multiply you above your fathers.
Mm.
And Yahuwah your Elohim will circumcise your heart and the heart of your seed to
What?
love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all
He
your
said
soul.
he will circumcise. That sounds like that new covenant, y'all.
That's what it sounds like.
Go ahead.
That you may live. And Yahuwah your Elohim will put all these curses upon your enemies and upon them that hate you, which persecuted you. And you shall return and obey the voice of Yahuwah and do all his
So
commandments.
again, some of his commandments, man, there's something wrong with this translation. Like
Like,
Yeah,
does
it's
that say all?
Wait. No, it's like, wait, what Bible you reading out of?
right.
Yeah, exactly. And you shall return and obey the voice of Yahuwah, Yahuwah, and do all his commandments, which I command you this day. And Yahuwah your Elohim will make you plenteous in every work of your hand, in the fruit of your body, and in the fruit of your cattle, and in the fruit of your land for good. For Yahuwah will again rejoice over you for good, as he rejoiced over your fathers, if you shall hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law.
Mm.
And if you turn unto Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul, for this commandment which I command you this day, it is not hidden from you,
You just
neither
talked about that.
is it far off.
It's not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. I'm speaking out of a book that I'm sure you've read out of sometime in your life. Sometime, I bet if I ask you to go get a Bible, you can pull it up on your phone, really,
Mhm.
not these days.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
It is not in heaven
Or
that
let me put it like this. If I say, go get a Bible, chances are you ain't going to respond. What is that?
right.
How
Since
about that?
Yes, especially since it's on the bestsellers list.
And been on the bestseller list. I don't think there was no time in my life that it has not been
It's
on the
always on the
bestseller
bestseller
list.
list.
Uh-huh.
It is not in heaven that you should say, who shall go up for us to heaven and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? Neither is it beyond.
Wait a minute. Hear it and do it.
Mm.
Hear it and do it. I'm gonna write a song. Hear it and do it. That's nice. Hear it and do it.
And do it and do it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us that we may hear it and do it?
Wow, that's two things right there. You got to hear it, then you got to do it. That's crazy, y'all.
That's in the New Testament too. Hearers and doers of his word.
Right, right. Right. Wait a minute. Let me quote Paul.
Be ye not only.
Paul says in Romans 2nd chapter, he says, it ain't the hearers of the word that's justified,
It's the
but the doers of the word are justified. Ain't that something?
The word are his laws, statutes, and commandments.
Yep.
That's what the word is.
14 about to tell you that.
Sure it is. Yes, yes,
But
yes.
the word, which is the commandments, is very nigh unto you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it. See, I have set before you this day life and good, and death and evil, in that I command you this day to love Yahuwah your Elohim, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that you may live and multiply. And Yahuwah your Elohim shall bless you in the land whither you go to possess it. But if your heart turn away so that you will not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship idols and serve them, I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land whither you pass over Jordan to go to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing.
Hold that thought right there. I was trying to think of some place here. I wanted to show something else here. I'm going to go right back there.
Okay.
1 John, 2nd chapter. Watch this.
You want to read it yourself?
Huh?
I'm thinking John, 1 John, I'm thinking, I'm thinking 3 and 4.
Right.
Different things.
Well, no, but you close right here. But check this out, though, and we're going to go right back.
What is it?
I'm going to make a point of what we just made a point of. Watch this. 1 John, 2nd chapter. Oh, you're not there?
No, I was trying. I thought you were going to read yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll read it myself. No problem.
No, I was trying to type it so because what's the name says she don't. 1 John, I got it. 1 John, 2nd chapter.
1 John, 2nd chapter, and read verse 3.
Verse 3. And whereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments.
Mm-hmm.
He that saith, I know him, and keep not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But whoso keeps his word.
Word. Oh, wait. Oh, what?
Whoso keep
You
his
caught
word.
that?
Oh, yeah. I know that.
There. Ain't that what we just read?
In him,
The
truth,
word is the what?
the commandments.
The
And
commandment.
the statutes.
Right,
And
right
the-
there. In the new, like I say, in the New Testament. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Whosoever keeping his word.
In him truly is the love. Oh, that's that love you talked about there, Cynthia, of Elohim perfected. Hereby know we that we are in
You
him.
can say you are in him, but this is how we know you are in him. Go ahead.
He that saith he abide in him ought himself also so to walk, even as he walks.
And that's what we
Right,
quoted it. We
yes.
just quoted it earlier, we just quoted it.
Yeah.
but we didn't go ahead and read it. But the Father called us to go ahead and read it just because on a whole nother thing right there, right? You can't separate the word from the commandments. Preacher preached a good word today.
He sure did.
What
Man.
commandments he talking about?
Huh?
What commandments he talking about?
Right. Commandments.
Now let's go get us some smothered pork chops.
That's right. Let's discuss that word over some pork chops and applesauce.
Verse
That's so
7.
funny, y'all, because it just on the whole nother level that the Masked Singer this week. Y'all ever watch that show, The Masked Singer?
Mhm.
You saw it this week?
No, I
Oh, I ain't gonna tell you this.
Yeah, don't.
You're gonna watch it, right?
no.
You're not gonna watch it?
No, because I had canceled the recording, but yeah.
They had these three characters called the Mummies, and they was up there singing, and they sung the theme song from the Monkees, right? And they were eliminated. And when they were eliminated, they were the Brady brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I said. Pork chops and applesauce.
Spoiler alert, people.
Right, spoiler. I just gave spoiler alert. I didn't get no spoiler alert, so y'all didn't either. That's what you get. Go ahead.
Okay, verse 7.
Oh no, go back to where we were at.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go back to that. I just want to show that.
Well,
the
no, I
word-
thought verse 7, he said, I write no new commandment unto you,
Right.
but an old commandment.
All good. Absolutely.
All right.
That's right.
That's great.
We're going back to Deuteronomy
The 30th chapter.
at verse 19.
Uh-huh.
I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both you and your seed may live, that you may love Yahuwah your Elohim, and that you may obey his voice, and that you may cleave unto him.
I'm gonna add something to the word, right? They don't add, but I'm gonna add because it's gonna fit right in. He said, I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse, therefore choose life, that both you and your seed may live. I'm gonna add, it ain't you, your seed, your family, your community. Everything about your community will be alive by this word. And nothing else. Can't no politician bring light to y'all. Can't no new nothing bring. Only the word of the Most High can cause that to happen. Okay. Without it, ain't no life. It's only the curse. Go ahead.
Let me start at the top of verse 20.
Yeah.
That you may love Yahuwah your Elohim, and that you may obey his voice, and that you may cleave unto him. For he is your life, and the length of your days, that you may dwell in the land which Yahuwah sware unto your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them.
Finally, y'all, this is it right here. This is it. We're closing out with this right here. Ezekiel, the 39th chapter. Closing out, y'all, on this right here. Ezekiel, the 39th chapter. And again, why can't the world hear or see YAH? You can't know YAH if you don't know his people. Okay. Ezekiel 39th chapter. Let's start this off at the 21st verse.
Okay, Ezekiel 9:21,
Uh-huh.
39:21.
Yep.
And I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and my hands that I have laid upon them. So the house of Yashrael shall know that I am Yahuwah, their Elohim, from that day and forward.
Right, because collectively we don't know, but a whole lot of us are gonna know, like even before this happened. But he said when he set his glory among the heathen, he said all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and my hand that I laid upon them. I see the Father operates the same way. He operates the same way. Right now, just using here in Florida, for instance, right? Here in Northeast Florida, it's Jacksonville, Duval County. We just happen to have went through a storm that totally passed over us, right? But in the southwest part of Florida, south of Tampa, Naples, Fort Myers or whatever, it was devastation.
Yes.
It was a death toll down there. I'm just using this for an example. Some people might say, man, the Father, and the Father said no evil can come in the city unless he do it.
Right.
Yeah, it is what the scripture says. But some people will say, it was a natural disaster that just happened, whatever. The thing about this is that prophetically, and we read about these witnesses as an example, when the time comes, the Father will really, really sanctify himself. The Father will send the prophets to prophesy that this is what's going to happen. The same way he did with the 10 plagues in Mizraim. It wasn't no half-assed thing, and they said, oh, the Father, he turned the river blood, but we did nobody say nothing prior to that, right? It's just you talking about the Father did that. All these gnats coming back. Oh, the Father did that. Ain't nobody said it. So it's just the gnats came, the flies came. No, somebody will prophesy it to be. And when it happens, then the heathen is going to know. Because that's how the Father operates. He say he do nothing unless he reveal it to a servant of prophet. We just happened to have read that earlier. So when he says that the heathen shall know, that means that it won't be nobody scratching their head trying to figure out, man, what's really going on? Okay? So yeah, so he says, what verse you at?
Verse 23.
Uh-huh.
And the heathen shall know that the house of Yasharal went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them.
That's we started out with that. He said, I hid my face from them. Go ahead.
And gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword.
That's the thing that always mystified me. When you try to talk to somebody and they don't really know this truth, ask them, where was God at when we was put in slave ships?
Right here.
Over and over and over again. No, you draw a blank. Can y'all go back to the time when y'all didn't know this truth?
Yeah. Oh,
Help me out with this.
Yeah. I didn't know what to say.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Cynthia, help me out with that. Huh? What's your answer to that? What's your answer? 12, come on, I know you got something good. What's your answer to that? Father, 12, where was God at when we was brought into these things?
I didn't know what to really say.
Huh?
Before the truth, I didn't know what.
That is a heavy question.
It was a joke.
Huh?
That's what the word says.
No, you don't know the word.
If I didn't know, I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know. 'Cause I ain't here.
You tell me that the God of heaven and earth is the God of the white man, yeah, I might have to think a little bit about that one right there.
Find somebody else.
Huh?
I said I need to find somebody else to come to for real.
I don't know.
And I
Shoot.
guess that's why a lot of the millennials, a lot of them are walking away from religion, because you thinking to yourself, okay, this is the dude we praying to, and they look like the people that's ruling over us, and we dying in the streets. I'm not gonna worship that God.
Exactly. That's exactly what that's happening. That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
That's exactly truly what's happening.
Falling away.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But when you ain't been taught the truth, what it ain't no falling away, because you ain't never really been in it.
Ain't nobody been keeping it up. Ain't nobody been installing
Yeah.
the word.
But that's what he says. Go ahead and finish that.
24. According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore this said Yahuwah Elohim, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Yisrael, and be jealous for my holy name. After that they have borne their shame and all their trespasses, whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' land, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations, then shall they know that I am Yahuwah their Elohim, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them.
In the new covenant, he said, I will be to them an Elohim, and they shall be my people. That's part of the new covenant right there. Go ahead.
For I have poured out my spirit upon the house of
Ooh,
Yisrael,
that's that new covenant too.
said Yahuwah Elohim.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Again, this is why the world can't hear or see YAH.
Yeah.
They don't know him. Haven't been taught him. You cannot know YAH and not know his people.
Right, because he hid his face from his people, which means he
That's
hid
right.
his face from the world.
From the whole world.
The whole world.
But you know when we were just in that Amos, and then I didn't read all that. Somebody said, "Have you ever essayed?" That's the word "essayed" to go to another people or something like that.
Right.
No, he haven't.
No.
Because if he did go to another people, then we would all know him.
Snaps to Andrea.
Huh?
Snaps.
Yeah, we was there. I didn't know when we read that particular verse though, but maybe so.
We might have.
Maybe so. And with the Amos, the second
I
chapter.
think we did.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fine. All right.
Oh,